Infinite projection room begins with the projection of Ultron's world destruction. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 551. I'm Thor, God of Thunder, for the glory of the North. Avengers building. Thor was petrified. Ha 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 ha. Loki laughed unscrupulously. Even when he was recognized by Odin, he didn't laugh so happily. Dog, you are actually a dog in that world. And you are so small. Ha 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 ha. A few minutes ago. The video continues. Although Xiao doesn't like the gods, when he heard that Xiao King's wish was to become a god like Nuwa, he still used the quilt to roll a tale for her. After spending Xiao King's birthday with Xiao, he returned to his spaceship and prepared to continue sailing. But he didn't notice that a figure sneaked into his spaceship. Xiao drove the spaceship to the starry sky. When he passed the back of a planet, he took out a polygonal object with runes on it. Creation staff, here I come. Do you know what that creation staff is? Creation staff, this name doesn't sound like a piece of junk. Bruce asked first, and the rest of the people also turned their eyes to the only person who might know, the river god. Facing the inquirers and inquiring eyes of the crowd, the river god thought for a while and said, I should know this thing. It is used to create the world. It sounded like, listen to your words, just like the words of Zhuangzi's awakening and purification, which still made everyone pay attention. In public and private, they all want to find out more information. In work, they also want to help the river god pay attention to that world. The gods in that world seem to be not serious, but at least there are many ordinary people. If someone with bad intentions really gets the treasure with the power to create the world, the ordinary people in that world will inevitably be hurt. In private, no one knows what problems will occur in the screening room this time. It is too difficult to find the answer to the problem in an abnormal world. Creation? Can you provide some information? And Bruce Wayne keenly captured a related piece of information. So far, except for Deadpool who has been crazy, the other screenings have an internal logical connection. A lot of seemingly useless nonsense information may be the key to breaking the deadlock later. Do you recognize what Xiao is holding in his hand? Yes, it's a star map. The river god nodded, then his face changed, and he suddenly realized something. Hey? That seems to be the star map, where the creation staff is located. I remember I put it in my house. Oh, I know. It was Xiao who came to my house to steal things. Why didn't you keep such an important thing well? I don't remember where I put it. How do I know that this is what was stolen? Captain America, it's so irresponsible for you to put such an important thing casually. River God, is it important? Captain America, of course. If this is true, this is a star map that can lead others to find the creation staff that contains the power of creation. Why don't you keep this kind of thing well? Loki Odinson, haven't you realized it yet? This guy doesn't realize the importance of the star map at all. The river god looked aggrieved. He really didn't think that the spinning pen was that powerful. The video continues. Little King Kong heard a noise from the back door of the spaceship, so he held up the star map and walked over with the help of the light from the star map. Just after Little King Kong walked into the dark place, he heard a voice. I'm Thor, the god of thunder, for the glory of the god of the north. Little King Kong was so scared that his legs went weak and he sat on the ground. Thor, Avengers building. Haha. Thor said to Loki excitedly. Loki, did you see that? This is the power of my name, the god of thunder. That mortal was so scared that his legs went weak just by hearing my name. TSK. The video continues. I'm Thor, the god of thunder, for the glory of the god of the north. Little King Kong looked at the darkness with fear on his face. Gods. They are the masters of this world and the absolute rulers. Each god has extremely terrifying power. How can a small mortal like him compete with a god? Exclamation mark. When the spaceship passed the back of the planet, the light of the star shone into the spaceship again, and Little Kong saw the true face of the god. He, wearing a red robe. He, holding the hammer Mjolnir, which is made of Uru alloy, a decaying star as a core, and the branches of the world tree as the hammer handle. He is the god of thunder, Thor. Why is it a dog? Faced with little Kang's questioning roar, Thor pressed the blue button on his chest with a solemn face. I'm Thor, the god of thunder. A clear male voice came from the voice machine on his chest. Seeing that little Kang didn't believe it, Thor pressed the blue button continuously, and the voice machine kept saying this sentence. I'm Thor, the god of thunder. X3 ha 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 ha. Avengers building. Loki's face was distorted with laughter. Seeing that Thor from another world had turned into a dog, and a domestic dog that looked unthreatening, Loki laughed like crazy. What was the big deal if he turned into a crocodile? Seeing Thor turned into a dog made him happier than if he had won the throne. It was like seeing that his good sister had gained 1 pound more than he had gained 10 pounds. Cinema. Everyone laughed out loud when they saw Thor, and Janet's eyes were full of light. What a cute little puppy. I suddenly want to raise one. However, Janet's face darkened instantly, but my dad won't allow me to raise one. Janitor, you should take some time to chat with your dad. Forget it. Janitor said, Dad is really busy at work. I can't disturb him. Then, you can think of a way to make a small gift for your dad. The video continues. Can you say something else? For the glory of the North God. Seeing Thor press the white button to send the second sentence, the little King Kong roared, let you say it yourself. Woof. Puff. The little King Kong couldn't hold it anymore. But how could I not beat a dog? Or a Shiba Inu? The little King Kong thought for a moment, raised the star map in his hand, and made a gesture of interacting with the dog. Do you want this? Woof woof woof. I tried it a long time ago. I went out for an internship for half a year, and I didn't see each other for half a year. I thought I was fine. In fact, I'm just a guest. What a hammer. I thought I had let it go, but when she and I lined up for nucleic acid testing, I couldn't remain calm anymore. I thought, just bear with it a little longer, since I'll graduate in mid to late May anyway, and I won't see her again after graduation. It's just over a month, at most 2 months. As a result, the facts proved that I was wrong again. Accidents always come so suddenly. That day, her light words broke my defense on the spot. My longing and love for her in my heart erupted like a volcano, and she still has an unshakable position in my heart. Maybe it's because of first love. The so-called lingering thoughts must have a response. Forget it. Just bear with it for a while. Anyway, it will pass sooner or later. Just like people, they will die sooner or later. Chapter 552. Big Hammer 80, Small Hammer 40. Avengers building. Thor's face was full of despair. Odin remained calm, but his palms were sweating. Thor had turned into a Shiba Inu. So what had he turned into? The old god king who had fought in the 9 realms for many years was rarely panicked. His hands were shaking slightly as he drank tea. It must not be something strange. He had also read the book that the mortal brought back last time. He had originally just thought of it as a topic of conversation after dinner, but when it really appeared in front of him, Odin was a little panicked. Image continues. Although Thor is a dog, his fighting power is really strong. With a swing of his hammer, thunders are everywhere. He can easily knock the man, King Kong, flying with one hammer. Seeing that the star map was about to be snatched away, the spaceship suddenly issued a warning. Collision warning, collision warning. With a bang, a golden spaceship directly crashed into King Kong's spaceship from the side. Inside, a goddess with purple hair and Greek clothes said to little King Kong, no time to explain, get in the car. Seeing Thor staring at him and baring his teeth, and seeing that this goddess looked so beautiful that she didn't want to be a bad person, little King Kong didn't have time to think about it and got on the other party's spaceship. Run away first. After the spaceship drove away, little King Kong just wanted to say a few words of thanks when the other party punched him and took away the star map. I, Athena, declare in the name of the Western gods that you are arrested. Screening room. This Athena looks normal. Yes. It seems that Loki's family is quite abnormal. One turned into a crocodile, and the other turned into a frog, and then a Shiba Inu. Batcave. Diana was a little surprised. She didn't expect that she couldn't figure out the generation. Anyway, they must be blood relatives. The goddess of wisdom Athena also appeared, and she looked quite normal. The video continues. Little King Kong was tied up tightly before he could react. Why are you arresting me? You stole the star map. I picked this up on the side of the road. It's illegal for me to pick up things. I used it to tease the dog. Okay. It's illegal to tease the dog. You are a god. So great. Gods can arrest people at will. You have the right to remain silent, but every word you say will be used as evidence in court. Bruce Wayne nodded. Compared with various operations that kill people at every turn, the approach of the goddess of wisdom Athena is more inclined to his philosophy. At this moment, a flash of lightning flashed, and a large number of thunderstorm clouds appeared out of thin air in the universe. Amidst the lightning and thunder, an orange figure holding Thor's hammer landed on the spaceship. It's Thor. It actually crossed the space in its flesh and caught up all the way. Avengers building. See, Loki. Even if I turned into a dog, my power as the god of thunder has not been reduced at all. Is this something to be proud of? You turned into a dog. Asgard, Loki's dormitory. Loki, who had been laughing because Thor had turned into a dog, stopped laughing at this moment. Although his brother had changed to a different world and even turned from an Asgardian into a dog with short limbs, his fighting power had not decreased significantly. Little King Kong taunted wildly. What a broken spaceship. It's not even as fast as a dog. I said, you have the right to remain silent. Athena kept accelerating the spaceship and twisting the steering wheel wildly, trying to throw Thor off the top of the spaceship, but Thor still stood firmly and even launched another attack because he was upset by the shaking. Thor raised his little paws high, his eyes turned white, and the terrifying power of thunder gathered here. 40. 3 hammers fell, and the spaceship engine was scrapped on the spot. Little King Kong was about to vomit, and Athena was furious. For the glory of the Western god, Athena shouted and kicked the hatch of the spaceship open with her long legs. If you look closely, you will find that Athena is wearing long boots. This story tells us not to mess with a road rage patient who is driving. Take out the long sword and shield that appeared from nowhere. Athena and Thor fought on the top of the spaceship, completely ignoring the falling spaceship and the little King Kong in the spaceship. Screening room. The gods of this world really have a bad attitude towards mortals. Yes, even Kanata could see it. Even if the brain circuits of that world were not normal, Athena and Tony obviously did not take the life of the little King Kong who was still in the spaceship seriously. If it wasn't for taking the little King Kong back for trial, it is very likely that the little King Kong would be chopped by Athena the next second after getting on the spaceship. Seeing this scene, Kanata couldn't help but think of the planets eaten by her father and the work of the group of big iron blocks in the God group. Determine whether the life on a planet can continue to survive. If it can, give those lives new technology. If those creatures do not meet the requirements of the Celestials, they will be directly destroyed and then recreated. Janitor has not seen the genocide of the Celestials with her own eyes, but she has read a lot of books. Janitor accidentally met the Celestials when she ran away from home. She asked them questions in confusion. Perhaps because of her identity as the daughter of the devouring star, Janitor, as a reserve of the cosmic gods, can barely be regarded as a half-colleague in the eyes of the Celestials. In addition, the other party had just finished work and was not too busy, so they answered Janitor's question. Why do we have to judge whether life is meaningful and then destroy or support it? And why can't we give the other party a chance to correct the error? Because it takes too long to correct the error, and the success rate is too low. It is an inefficient approach. It is the most efficient approach to directly erase it and start over. It was unprecedented for the Celestials to choose to say a few words to Janitor. After answering Janitor's question, the Celestials left that place without looking back. They also have a mission. As gods, they are civil servants of this universe. They have to wait until the moment when the universe is destroyed, or when they themselves are destroyed. Although these two conditions are not easy. But when Kanata traveled in the universe and constantly avoided her father's chairs, she began to come into contact with all kinds of people, and had many different ideas. Although the thoughts of many ordinary mortals are very simple, good races are good and bad races are bad, but can those bad races really not become better through teaching? Moreover, she has also seen bad people appearing on good planets and good people appearing on bad planets. Can't life change? This is Kanata's doubt. Tigger has already started writing. I would like to remind those who are skipping to read it. You can first watch the small theater in chapter 443 and then decide whether to subscribe to the rest of the content. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 553. Important things should be said 3 times. On the top of the spaceship, Athena and Thor fought. Thor's hammer carried the power of thunder, and Thor held it in his claws and smashed it hard at Athena. Athena was not to be outdone and slashed at Thor's hammer with her own sword. The sword and Thor's hammer collided, sparks and lightning flew. In response, little King Kong looked indifferent to life and death, and quietly waited for the spaceship to crash. The two gods outside fought until the sky was dark and the sun and moon were dim, and little King Kong inside looked indifferent and generously prepared to die. Bullshit. The spaceship still crashed, but fortunately, no one was hurt. Athena and Thor continued to fight, and little King Kong climbed out of the abandoned part of the spaceship with a look of pain on his face. Looking at the two gods who were still fighting, little King Kong thought, anyway, I have already memorized the navigation map, and the star map is not very important. If I get involved in their battle, 8 lives will not be enough. Retreat. Little King Kong tried to sneak away, but Thor hit the star map with a hammer during the battle with Athena, and what was even more unfortunate was that the star map flew into little King Kong's hands. Don't touch the star map. I didn't move it, sister. It was you two who hit it. Okay. Athena threw her shield and hit the star map into a small river. Seeing the star map fall, Athena didn't care about the fight and ran to the river to pick it up. Just as she stepped into the river, a white light lit up, and the squinty-eyed monster with a white ball head appeared. It's me. I'm on TV. Great. The river god cheered and was very happy about being on TV. Kanata was happy with him. She liked this squinty-eyed big brother very much and always felt that he smelled very good. Young Athena. The river god said to Athena, you dropped this gold star map. A star map with a gold base and blue runes appeared in the river god's hand. Or this silver star map. A star map with a silver base and blue runes appeared in the river god's hand. Or this broken star map. This time, it was a broken star map that was still emitting black smoke and dim. But, broken. Athena was shocked, and Thor's ears and eyes were not working well at this moment. Although dogs' senses should be stronger than humans. Anyway, he just smashed the ground with a hammer. Lightning fell from the sky, fell into the earth along Thor's hammer, and then hit the river according to Thor's thoughts. Athena's heartbeat accelerated due to the electric shock, and she looked at the river god in front of her unconsciously. At this moment, Athena's cheeks suddenly turned red, and a strange feeling surged in her heart. Is this the feeling of being thumped? Looking at the two people with stars in their eyes, Thor turned into an emoticon in an instant, and threw a hammer on the ground, and a lightning bolt hit King Kong directly. Still, didn't escape. Screening room. Wow, is this love? Janitor's eyes lit up, and she seemed to be very curious about this feeling she had never experienced before. No, this is definitely not love. Tony told Janitor seriously, it's just a normal physiological reaction after being electrocuted, that's all. Image continues. The scene turned, and it was unknown where the 3 people and the dog found a spaceship. They escorted King Kong to a stone platform suspended in the universe. There were 4 huge stone pillars on the stone platform, but one of them had been destroyed and shattered. And on the other 3 stone pillars, there were 3 different statues. Avengers building. That's father. Loki and Thor recognized the person on one of the stone pillars at a glance. Holding a spear, with the classic horned helmet on his forehead and a big beard. This is Odin. Batcave. Is that Zeus? Diana frowned. One of the statues made her instinctively feel that the other party was Zeus, the king of the old gods. The video continues. Athena knelt on one knee, with a drop of cold sweat on her forehead. Great Western god Zeus, please listen to my call. The eyes of the Zeus statue released a projection, and a majestic old man in a robe, with white hair and beard appeared in the projection. Athena, why did you contact me with the altar that has been abandoned for so long? Diana Prince, it is indeed Zeus. Loki Odinson, then, the figure holding the spear is most likely my father. Seeing Odin's image is still normal, whether it is Loki, Thor, or Odin himself, they all breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, Avengers Tower. Loki launched a crazy ridicule at Thor, saying that the problem is not that world, but you. Opposite Zeus, the river god was holding 3 incense sticks in his hand, and bowing in one direction, as if he was meeting someone. Lady Nua, did you hear my voice? The same holographic projection, but this time it was a mobile phone screen, which showed that it was communicating and dialing in response. Zyojin Gang released a complaint with at least 3000 plus complaining energy. The gods also use mobile phones. River god, what's the matter? Noah looked like she had just finished making a mask, with a face full of impatience. When she saw that there were outsiders, she was frightened and completed a series of tasks such as makeup, changing clothes, and doing hair in 1 second. What are you doing? Lady Nua, he is the thief. Between the stone statues of Zeus and Nua, on the third stone statue, Thor took out a gold coin, and threw it into the coin slot. The next second Odin's figure appeared in the projection. Everyone in the screening room, I was wrong. This world is still as abnormal as ever. Thor, my dear son, do you miss your daddy? While Odin was playing with the dog, Noah was already furious. River god, you didn't even report such an important thing about the creation staff. You asked me to take care of it. Who told you to talk so much nonsense before? Noah rolled her eyes at the river god's soft voice. Say the important things first, and say it several times. Oh. The river god said calmly, the star map is broken. Broken. Noah didn't care about being angry, and the other 2 main gods were all attracted by the river god at this moment. The star map is broken. The star map is broken. Chapter 554, River God. I'm scared to death. Got it, no need to say it again. But you were the one who said that important things should be said several times. Noah trembled all over and punched the holographic screen in front of her. The river god said in his unique, plain, slightly salty, and calm voice, you scared me to death. Noah was completely mad. Zeus looked at Noah, who looked mad, and the river god, who looked calm and composed, and said to Athena, you were held back by such a person. Athena, you really disappoint me. Holding back. Noah roared, I haven't settled accounts with you yet, and you dared to send people to my territory to steal things. Do you still have a sense of public morality? Public morality? Odin, who was playing with his dog and son to enhance their relationship, also interjected, well, then, you go back to your homes, and hand over the army to me. Then let you dominate the entire universe. When you get old, you should go to square dance. Why grab the scepter? Who are you talking about old? I'm not in menopause. Who is in menopause? X to Odin was yelled at by the left and right channels, and his face was speechless. Then, the 2 main gods of the east and the west quarreled over the issue of menopause. Zyojin Gang understood instantly, and wanted to use the same method of stirring up trouble that he had used to escape from the 2 gangster groups on the 3 main gods. But the main gods were stronger than those small hooligans who were not even soldiers, so they just watched Zyojin Gang's performance quietly. They could quarrel as they pleased, but Zyojin Gang, a mortal, wanted to get involved. That was not allowed. Little King Kong, do you know how much trouble you have caused? A mere mortal actually destroyed the star map, which is the only clue to find the creation staff. If we can't take the creation staff back from Rab, there is no way to stop the language. Who is Rab? What prophecy? You mortals have forgotten. Zeus said slowly, the earliest gods. In fact, there were 4. I'm Zeus, the western god, eastern god, Nuwa, northern god Ao, Hankigan. You wanted to say Odin just now. Hankigan. The systems are different, okay. Hankigan. Avengers building. Odin covered his face in pain. He shouldn't have believed in this isotope of his. In addition to us, there is another god who controls the southern universe, and that is Rab. The stone statue scattered on the ground, a bird's head flashing with light. Screening room. Bruce Wayne, this Ra, in my universe, is an Egyptian god, the Egyptian sun god, the main god, Ra. Legend has it that Ra has 3 faces, a scarab, a falcon, and a human face. This setting actually appears in the River God's universe as well. And the staff of creation is the tool used by the Titans to create this world. The Titans used the staff of creation to create this universe. After that, he left the staff here, guarded by us 4 gods. He also left words, saying that one day the forces of darkness will take the staff away. Let the universe fall into darkness and chaos. See. Peter said to the river god beside him, Mr. River God, the staff of creation is a very important thing. If it falls into the hands of darkness, it will cause chaos to all living things in the universe, so please be sure to protect the star map when you go back. Okay. There was a hint of grievance in the river god's calm voice. 4,000 years ago, Ra started a war and stole the staff. According to the prophecy, Ra will definitely come back. Over the years, we have been expanding our army to deal with this war that may start at any time. Little King Kong, you understand how much trouble you have caused? In response, Little King Kong said, I understand the truth, but the star map was broken by Athena. Athena blushed, but still admitted it. Who knew you would use the star map as a shield? Now it was Zeus who was confused. Ha. Nuwa curled her lips and said, it's so funny, tut tut tut, I didn't expect it. Nuwa's voice may be similar to the voice of Ao Han Kigan teasing his son. Thor's instinctive reaction made Han Kigan instantly explode. Hey. Nuwa, what are you doing? If you can't get the star map, you can get the dog. I didn't call it. It came here by itself. It's uneducated. It may be unintentional or intentional. Anyway, Nuwa's words irritated Zeus. Hey, hey, hey. Who are you calling uneducated? Athena was furious. She said with a mad face, Dad, you can scold yourself without dragging me into it, okay? Thor is so cute. How can you scold a dog? Disgusting. Pervert. You're still scolding. I'm scolding you. Odin. Call me Han Kigan. Everyone, stop arguing. Everyone, stop arguing. The river god's soft and weak voice had no fighting power on the battlefield of a group of uncles and aunts. Zeus and Athena started discussing the issue of urging marriage again, making the river god sweat and run around. Perhaps, the brain circuits of the gods are different from those of mortals after all. Maybe it's because the gods have lived too long and have become idle. Nuwa and Odin also joined the army of urging marriage. At the same time, I don't know when, more communication videos were turned on at the same time and started to urge Athena to get married. Thor, it's terrible. Fortunately, I'm just a dog. River god, everyone, stop arguing. If you have something to say, please talk it over. Athena was forced into a corner and could only suppress her voice and say, I have someone I like. Unexpectedly, Zeus's face changed at this moment. He shouted, Athena, do you understand your identity? You are my daughter, the goddess of war and wisdom. You must marry someone of equal status. Just when Athena couldn't help but explode, Zyojin Gang's share successfully attracted the attention of the whole audience. What I mean is, may you have a son soon, and live happily together forever. I have something else to do. I'm leaving first. You don't have to see me off. You guys chat. Ha 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 ha. Want to leave. Odin, close the door and let the dog out. Call me Han Kigan. Janitor, Dad wouldn't be like this when he had a meeting with several other gods in the universe. Dad wouldn't urge me to get married in the future, would he? It looks so scary. Chapter 555, Emoticon Pack Award. This is indeed a court. Because of rap, there has been no court session for thousands of years. And you, Zyojin Gang. The 3 main gods suddenly became serious and said to Zyojin Gang, you will be the first mortal to be tried in 1,000 years. Zeus even said, Judge, convict him. Judge. Zyojin Gang was stunned. Who was this? How could he be called the judge by the 3 main gods? That meant. Under a crescent moon, a pair of eyes and a mouth suddenly appeared. Little King Kong, do you know your crime? When did you come? I have been here the whole time. I was just resting my eyes. You are too dark. How dare you disrespect the court? Someone, come. The dog's head is ready. Woof 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 woof. Looking at Thor with his teeth bared, little King Kong said quickly, "Wait a minute. I can find the magic wand." Thor, "Let him talk." Woof. Ha 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 ha. Dog exhaling sound. The dog's face changes so quickly. After releasing the handcuffs, little King Kong explained, "Before I was caught by you, I looked at the star map, and I also remember the route in it. Athena, take him on the spaceship." Zeus spoke first, and prepared to endure it. Thor, "Close the door, and release the dog." Odin summoned his good son, and used the skill, "Close the door, and release the dog." Little King Kong is from the east. Humph. Athena. Athena raised her sword, and held the golden shield. Thor. Thor grabbed Thor's hammer with one hand, and endless thunder gathered on Thor's hammer again. The original expression on his face disappeared, and the whole dog changed his style. "You two are bullying us in the east, because there is no one there? River God. Hey, did you make a mistake?" Little King Kong smiled and said, "I can find the magic wand, but I didn't say who I would give it to. I'm a principled person." "Oh. Thieves also have their own code of conduct." The Black Shadow said, "This official. I'll give it to whoever pays more. This official will destroy you on behalf of the moon." "Wait a minute, Mr. Bayo." Odin interrupted Mr. Bayo and said, "Little King Kong, take Thor with you, and get the magic wand back. Money will never be a problem for you again." Odin. "Call me Hankigan. Hankigan, we are all gods. We can never lack money. Take Athena with you. I'll double it. I'll double it too. No, or I'll triple it. Grab the landlord. Stop it." "Alright." Zeus said, "There's no point in arguing. I suggest that we each send one person to follow him." "I agree. At the very least, let the scepter be free from Thor's control first. We can talk about the rest later. TSK, that's the only way. Hey, can you respect my principles? I always act alone." Little King Kong pointed at Athena and said, "You don't trust me, but I don't trust her either. I won't have enough lives to act with her." "Hey, so you mean there's no room for negotiation?" Odin sighed. Thor, "Close the door and let the dogs out." Screening room. Loki Odinson, "Close the door and let the dogs out." JPG Wanda, "This emoticon is so funny. Where did you find it?" Loki Odinson, "Foolish mortals, didn't you notice that there's a screenshot function and emoticon package that can be generated with one click?" Peter Parker, "It really exists." Wanda, "It would be nice if there was a playback function. I must pull out all your black history and make it into emoticons." Loki Odinson, "TSK, wait, I must find a way to make all the emoticons of you performing the sitcom in the Westview fantasy." River God's helplessness. JPG River God, "It seems that we can also make emoticons ourselves, not necessarily the ones in the video." Thanos, "Why does the screening room have these useless functions?" Agwang, Peter's shock. JPG, "It can't be said to be useless. We had a lot of fun." Peter Parker, Doghead M. Bruce Wayne, "The screening room has always been like this. Those who want to get points and answer questions seriously can pass the level. If you don't want to, you can just come here for vacation." Tony Stark, Antiques approval. Captain America, Tony. The video continues with a from on his left face and a heart on his right face. The little King Kong, wearing a straw hat and a band-aid on his face, clasped his fists and said, "Let's go, friends. What kind of adventure is waiting for us?" The disdain of the gods. The river god took a handkerchief and waved it up and down, saying goodbye to the people on the spaceship. "Be careful on the way and come home often. You get on the ship too." Faced with news raw, the river god pointed at himself and asked, "Me? Do I have a choice?" "Yeah." The river god raised his arms high, and his robe just covered his hands. He waved his hands like a little butterfly fluttering its wings, and trotted over slowly. "It's time to go on a business trip." Nu was collapse. JPG Raz, "Strength is extraordinary, you must be careful." 3 people and a dog got on the car. Well, since it was a spaceship found by Athena, Athena sat in the driver's seat and was responsible for driving. Only by taking back the scepter can peace be restored in this universe. Okay, Athena starts to start the spaceship. Okay, she starts to reverse. Your success or failure determines the fate of the universe. No mistakes are allowed. Boom. Okay, she crashed the spaceship into the wall. the altar, which was already in disrepair and dilapidated, plus the cosmic court. Please turn on the microphone to communicate. How about I help you reverse the spaceship? I can do that too. Woof. I'm Thor, the god of thunder, for the glory of the northern gods. No, thank you. Thor, you dog, why are you joining in the fun? Athena took a deep breath and repeated what she learned in the driving lesson once again. Accelerator, brake, clutch. Accelerator, brake, clutch. Hey, it was just a small mistake. Wait a minute. Brake and clutch are pronounced the wrong way. While the foolish mortals were still trying to teach a goddess how to fly a spaceship, the clever river god and the dog had already fastened their seatbelts. Don't step on the accelerator all at once. Put it in gear. Put it in gear. Press the clutch. Release it slowly. Shut up. Stop nagging. Hey, hey, hey. That's the handbrake. This is a gear. Don't pull it out. What did you do by putting it in gear? How did you pass the second test? Shut up. The helplessness of the three main gods. JPG. How did your Athena get a driver's license? Han Kigan asked Zeus on the side. Our Thor drives better than this. Why don't you let the river god drive? This kid's driving skills are pretty good. I don't know either, and I didn't dare to ask. Anyway, after she passed the driver's license test, the test venue was completely renovated, and the driving school gave a month of paid leave to celebrate. Athena's expression was distorted, and she took a deep breath. Okay, this time, there will be no problem. Athena successfully turned on the wipers. Shut up. I didn't say anything. I heard you laughing. I just remembered something happy. What happy thing? After I finish this job, I won't lack money in my next life. Thor, what are you laughing at? Woof woof woof. Stop laughing. Boom. After Athena stepped on the accelerator in anger, the spaceship broke through the stone pillars blocking the road with incredible strength and flew away with 3 people and a dog. Batcave. Diana was doubting her life. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Why am I watching this? Is this really a god? Dacheo nodded and said, indeed, I took the driving test for a long time, but I just couldn't reverse into a parking space. Diana, does your focus have to be so weird? Mr. Clark, Alfred said, you could have actually taken a Gotham driver's license at that time. Gotham drivers don't need a reverse parking test. Does Gotham have a driver's license? Of course not, so you can just drive freely. You're really humorous, old man. Hot knowledge, due to America's magical system, the traffic rules in each state of America are different. If a group of Americans are put together to drive, a scene of free America will probably appear. Zeus, I think I know how this kid got his driver's license. With your temper, it'll be hard for your girl to get married. Noah said, if a girl is too strong, it'll be hard for her to find a partner. Oh, don't mention it. Zeus no longer looked worried as before. He said, her mother, her aunt, her uncle, her third uncle, her fourth aunt and I have introduced several people to her, but none of them satisfied. My kid has reached the right age recently. How about letting them meet? Okay. That Brad Boulder? No, it's his younger brother, Paul. That kid is a little too dull. I think that kid is good and honest. He should be able to stand your girl's temper. Then, let's let them meet after the mission is over. Step. Chapter 556, Obtuse Angle. The 3 people and the dog played and ate and drank all the way, and there was no sign of tension or risk of adventure. Or the biggest crisis is Athena. You are now on a spaceship, and the driver is a novice female driver who suffers from road rage. Ask, how do you feel now? Zhao Gang really wants to exchange with Athena, but when he sees the long sword in Athena's hand, he feels that between dying early and dying later, he chooses the latter. Along the way, the Scepter expedition team encountered traffic jams, car crashes, fights with others, bought hamburgers at Deadpool's hamburger shop, and was lectured by the traffic police for opening the window and sticking their heads out to enjoy the fresh air. Something seems to be wrong. Is there air in the space of that world? Otherwise, why is it that their hair is obviously blown by the wind when they open the window and stick their heads out to enjoy the fresh air? No wonder when I watch Athena driving a spaceship, I always have a sense of deja vu of watching Gwen learning to drive, except Gwen drives much better than Athena. The river god scratched his head. He thought everyone was wondering why Deadpool ran to his own world and opened a hamburger shop, but that hamburger looked delicious. Why not go there after the screening? Little King Kong's face turned into a fan-shaped picture at this moment, with 3 parts of speechlessness, 3 parts of shock, 2 parts of indifference, 1 part of relief for finally surviving, and 1 part of an expression that I don't know what it is. He slowly said, "Destination. We are here. It's really the destination." Yes, I saw 3 large characters made of meteorites floating in the outer circle of the planet's atmosphere. There was also a circle of English under destination, which should be the translation of the destination. Everyone was not surprised by this. After the double baptism of Deadpool and River God, their resistance to such things was greatly enhanced. The spacecraft slowly fell down, and when it was about 3 or 5 meters away from the ground, it suddenly turned off and fell to the ground with a snap. Athena's parking point JPG in front of everyone was a huge pyramid. There was a huge hole on one wall of the pyramid, which seemed to have been smashed open by something. No one should have been here for a long time. Ra escaped to another space back then. This should be the passage to that space. Look. Little King Kong came to a stone wall with a torch in his hand. There are hieroglyphs on it. Lizi Fashikyo, I see. Little King Kong said, "This pyramid is a particle emitter. It uses particles to hit the sun, and then uses the gravity of a collapsed star to compress space-time to form a wormhole. Through the space-time wormhole, you can travel to the space where A is. If there is a machine, there must be a switch. Let's look for it separately." So, how did he get this information from an abstract painting that is so abstract that even Picasso would call it an expert, and yet he can't say it seriously? Logan, Wayne, you still haven't grasped the essence. To watch this, you have to ignore the irrationality, and it would be much better to watch this as a sitcom. Bruce Wayne. Little King Kong, Athena and Thor scattered with torches. Athena walked in the ruins and suddenly heard a sound around her. The next second, a white figure appeared from Athena. "Ah. Oh, I scared you to death." Athena ordered the white figure, "Can you be more careful when you say that?" The river god stood in front of Athena with a smile. Athena had no choice but to ask, "Didn't we say to find the switch separately? Why did you come to me? How to find it? Think about it yourself. Can a grown man have a little opinion of his own? Then I'll follow you." Athena was unmoved on the surface. The moment she turned around, her face flushed and she gasped. Her heart was pounding. She turned around and walked away at the fastest speed. "Whatever you want." Is that sister's face flushed and her heartbeat accelerated because her nerves were tense and suddenly relaxed after being frightened, causing her body's functions to instinctively react and her blood flow to speed up. Janitor asked, "Will gods also have this symptom?" "No, child." Tony handed Janitor a cup of milk tea and said, "Believe me, she just fell in love with the river god. Isn't she sick?" "Absolutely not. I promise you in the name of Tony Stark and my glorious record." Because he was afraid of the dark and had no torches, he wanted to find a companion, but he seemed to have misunderstood something by mistake. But the river god, who was completely unaware of it, happily followed Athena. In the distance, Thor's eye saw the reflection of the torch. FFF. It threw the torch to the ground fiercely. I don't know what the torch was made of, but it was very burnt, and it rolled into a crack in the ground. Seeing this, Thor trotted over to explore, and actually found a tunnel. Thor's sinister smile point JPG on the other side. Little King Kong also gained something. He found a platform with a user manual written on it. "Now we can get rid of them." On the other side, the river god followed Athena and listened to Athena's mumbling. "So don't think about this kind of thing. Do you understand?" The river god said helplessly. "What are you talking about? I don't understand at all." Just then, a light came on, and Athena immediately realized that something big had happened. Athena grabbed the river god and started running. "We were careless. Someone must have found the switch first and wanted to get rid of us and run first. We were so careless." Little King Kong looked at the machine in front of him silently, while Athena pulled the river god all the way with sparks and lightning, dust flying and flames dancing, and a pool lizard on the roadside was burned into a skeleton. "Little King Kong, you found it, but didn't call us. Are you planning to run away first? You don't trust me." I'm afraid you'll default on your duty. Little King Kong gave up his position. Athena leaned over and saw the instructions on it. Step 1. Put your left hand on the triangle panel in the middle. Athena did as she was told. After putting her hand on it, the entire triangle panel and the patterns on the instrument lit up. Wow. Athena and the river god showed surprised expressions, while Little King Kong stood behind with an expression of watching a good show. Step 2. The river god continued to read. Open your right hand and put it on your right eye. Athena then made a scissors hand gesture and put it on her right eye. The quick answer session began. This is a single player quick answer session. 10 points will be awarded for correct answers, and a penalty card will be drawn for incorrect answers. Question. What will this machine be? What will it do? A. Particle emitter. Press it to emit particles to hit the sun, causing the star to collapse and create a space-time wormhole. B. Trap. Press it to get an electric shock. C. Obtuse angle. D. A fancy camera for taking pictures. The countdown starts now. When you count to 1, start answering. 10, 9, 8, 4, 2, 1. I choose D. Janitor raised her hand to answer. Damn it, why don't you give me the badge for updating 10,000 words a day? NMDWSM. Chapter 557. The river god is two-dimensional, breaking the wall of cognition. Congratulations to Janitor for answering correctly. You will be awarded 10 points and a special card to use when you return to your original world. Wow. Gold. Ordinary. A golden card with a little starlight condensed in front of Janitor. Janitor didn't understand how it was condensed, but she still took the card. Food summoning card. Tantan Sushi. Level. Gold ordinary. Effect. Summons a Tantan Sushi. Introduction. A very big sushi. Enough for you to eat for a while. Wow. Janitor looked at the card in her hand and was very happy. Why can't I use it here? I want to eat it with everyone. Because it's too big. Okay then. But you can cut off a part of it after returning to your world and bring it here. Great. Looking at the screening room that seemed to be coaxing a child, everyone could only sigh that the screening room was indeed becoming more and more humane. But that thing is actually a camera. Isn't that reasonable? This is very reasonable. Bruce sighed and said, am I crazy, or am I too normal to fit in with you? The video continues. Part 3. Shout out the command loudly. Gunira, the dark god. Woohoo. Black magic transformation. Gunira, the dark god. Woohoo. Black magic transformation. Athena said this spell in the most serious tone, which should have been full of incongruity, but seemed extremely normal. Click. A burst of white light flashed, and a photo spit out from the machine. Why is it a photo sticker? Athena threw the photo sticker on the ground and stomped on it hard to vent her anger. At this time, Thor also came to a door. Looking at the door, Thor's dog face showed a sinister smile. Little King Kong and the angry Athena started arguing, and the river god could only intervene to mediate. At this moment, the echo resounded throughout the ruins. I'm Thor, the god of thunder, for the glory of the northern god. At this time, Little King Kong and Athena got up. In addition to the three of them, there was also a dog among the people who came. The two of them didn't care about arguing anymore. Each of them grabbed the river god with a torch and chased in the direction of the sound. Damn it. He is a dog, and his nose is so sharp. I should have followed him earlier. Hurry up and chase. Don't let him run away. The three-person team followed the sound to a big door and saw Thor waiting for them. At this time, they realized that they might have wronged Thor. Avengers building. Listening to these words, although Thor knew that it was just stating a fact, he felt offended. Athena and Little King Kong apologized to Thor, and the most careful people had already discovered the clues. Here is an instruction manual. The river god might have wanted to kill the dog and destroy his heart, or he was just a natural fool. He read out the instructions in a loud and clear voice. Voice controlled door. Please say open sesame to open the door. I'm Thor. Thor's face was covered with tears, and all his words were in his tears. It's really hard for you. Little King Kong rubbed Thor's head and shouted the password. Open sesame. The 4 diagonal lines on the stone door were instantly filled with blue light, and at the core, an X-shaped energy lock slowly opened. X-Men Universe. Charles looked at the light that looked like the letter X shining on little King Kong's face, and he was immediately inspired. Hank said he wanted to give himself a big job, build a secret weapon or something, and this thing seems to be useful. I didn't pay attention before, but now I realize that they are all country brothers. Ah. Little King Kong screamed and rolled on the ground with his eyes covered. My eyes. My eyes. My eyes. Suddenly, Charles gave up this annoying idea. He always felt that it was a bit difficult to open the door without flashing his eyes. But his school must have a school emblem or something like that. In his imagination, the letter X represents the unknown, and it also indicates the infinite possibilities of mutants. For the time being, there is really no better choice. The door opened, and various paper-thin squares were floating inside. They are not necessarily squares, some of them are Tetris. The three-person team carefully explored the situation here. Thor was frightened by the squares, and searched for enemies in the void, while Athena, who might be more vigilant, chose to summon the sword and stab it into the square. Athena stabbed the sword into the other dimension. This is the text that popped out of the thin square after Athena stabbed the sword into the square. Another dimension? Athena was shocked. The same text appeared on the square afterwards. This strange situation ended until Athena pulled out the sword. Seeing this, King Kong also put his hand in. What's going on? King Kong's hand. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, it's upgraded. Tony Stark, wait a minute, Doctor, can you explain it more clearly? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. After King Kong inserted his hand into the fragment of the other dimension, the part he put in upgraded from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, that is a 2-dimensional world. As soon as these words came out, the whole screening room no longer had a relaxed and happy atmosphere. It was like breaking through the wall of cognition. Everyone finally discovered the biggest difference between them and the river god. That is the painting style. If they are realistic, then the river god is an animation style. I don't know why. Maybe it's habitual cognition, or maybe there is really something that prevents them from recalling all this. Everyone finally discovered the problem. The painting style of the river god is completely different from Thor's. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. The river god should be in a 2-dimensional world where everything can seem so unreasonable and yet reasonable. Looking at the river god, everyone realized that the river god at this moment began to gradually change in their eyes, as if he had become a paperman. But the next moment, this change was forcibly stopped, and the river god once again restored the appearance of a 3-dimensional creature. Mr. River God, are you okay? No. The river god still said with a smile, I'm fine. Tony took a deep breath and asked, Screening room, can you explain it? I accidentally wrote it a bit brain burning, and I always feel like it's going to collapse. I quickly sent the screening room's mechanical Deus Ex Machina to save a wave. Chapter 558, Particle Launcher? Yes, Particle Launcher. Seeing the reply from the screening room, Tony quickly asked, why is the river god a 2-dimensional creature? Why are you a 3-dimensional creature? What's wrong with 2-dimensional creatures? Do you look down on 2-dimensional creatures? I was so angry. When will 2-dimensional creatures stand up? I forgot the rest. No, that's not what I mean. Tony was a little confused by the words of the screening room. When he was sorting out his thoughts, Bruce Wayne took over his words. What we mean is, why didn't we notice the strangeness of the river god before? When a person sees something that he can't understand at all, the brain will forcibly interfere with it, either ignoring it directly or rationalizing it, or going crazy. The original existence of the river god is close to this category, but the brain's protection program is activated, plus the protection filter of the screening room, so you will subconsciously ignore the unreasonable parts. As for the rest of the things you don't understand, you will understand after watching it. The video continues. The river god summoned everyone over. There was a platform there. On the platform was a button, and there was a note saying don't press it. Hey, what are you doing? The river god stretched out his hand, but was held down by the little King Kong. Press it. It says don't press it. What if it's a trap? Are you saying this red button is a trap or this note is a trap? I don't think it can be pressed. Okay, let's vote. Athena said, I choose to press it. I choose not to press it. I want to press it. Woof. Okay, choose one out of 3. Press it. Thor. Woof woof woof. At this moment, Thor felt the sadness of not knowing Chinese. Athena pressed the red button at lightning speed, and the paper-thin thing floating in the air, that claimed to be an alternate dimension, quickly fell down and overlapped, and after perfectly fitting together, it quickly disappeared. Peter Parker, it's really Tetris. At the moment the button was pressed, the whole room, no, the whole ruins, the whole planet began to tremble violently. The corridor in the room began to crack, and everyone tried desperately to escape from here, but it was too late. Lightning struck the surface of the planet. From space, a perfect circular crack appeared on the entire planet, and then slowly sank. The entire planet was split in two from the middle, like a huge space capsule. If you look closely, you will find that the entire planet has been hollowed out and artificially mechanically transformed. Little King Kong kept screaming and was finally interrupted by Athena. Only then did he realize that he was floating in the universe. The people in the screening room no longer considered why sound could be transmitted in the universe. Since it was a two-dimensional world, it was very reasonable to think that there was air in the universe. When everyone found that, as long as they put aside their previous concepts and looked at a brand new world from a new perspective, everything in this world was so reasonable and interesting. Little King Kong looked around and saw the sun gradually emerging. At this moment, he understood that the thing was the start button of the particle emitter. He figured it out, and so did Athena and Thor. The spaceship was not far away. The two men and the dog looked at each other and understood what the other was thinking. Go. Little King Kong pushed Athena away and then was kicked in the crotch by Athena. Friendly reminder, Athena was wearing long boots, well, the kind with heels on the soles. According to the principle that the smaller the force area, the greater the pressure, this kick kicked Little King Kong out of the whole summer. Thor took advantage of the fight between the two and rushed out directly. Athena grabbed Thor's tail and threw it back. Then Little King Kong pushed Athena away, but was bitten on the arm by Thor again. Just then, the wise man appeared. The wise river god said, "Don't fight anymore, because the force is mutual. If neither of you gives in, then you can only go around in circles." The words of the river god were unanimously recognized by the two men and the dog. No one will get ahead if the fight continues. Let's cooperate. Let one person get on the spaceship first. How about that? Let me get on first. Can you fly a spaceship? I'll do it. Woof woof woof. Thor, you're the first one to run away. I don't believe any of the things you gods say. The river god stretched out his little finger and said, how about we make a pinky promise? Don't lie. The words of the wise man were recognized by mortals. Just when Athena and Thor were still arguing without obstacles, Little King Kong took the lead in making a pinky promise with the river god. Logan, this kid agreed so quickly so suddenly. Is it a trick? Wanda, no, it's Zyra King. Logan, who? Wanda, Zyra King, the girl with green hair, is Little King Kong's childhood sweetheart. Making a pinky promise is an agreement between Little King Kong and Zyra King, and it is also the most sacred agreement that Little King Kong believes. Therefore, Little King Kong will break his promises on various agreements, but not on pinky promises. Wanda, at least that's what I think. Agwang, can a person who cannot be bound by the law be bound by a verbal agreement? Wanda, in people's hearts, there are always some things that are sacred and inviolable. Although these may be a joke in the eyes of others, they have an unshakable position in that person's heart. Only one person understands the importance of such things. Janitor, so that's how it is. Strange. From a scientific point of view, it is because everyone's life trajectory is different and the influences they receive when growing up are also completely different. Wanda, sir, you, a magician, always make me feel a little weird when you talk about science. Strange? What's so strange? Science is another kind of magic. Science is not bound by values and has nothing to do with values. Science is knowledge that has been quantitatively and formalized. I can regard the magic spell as an instruction. The rune is the circuit board, and the magic is the power supply. I chant the spell to give orders to the machine, and then the magic, which is the power supply, enters the machine to provide energy, and finally enters the correct position under the guidance of the rune, and a magic is used. The video continues. Little King Kong chose to make a pinky promise with the river god without hesitation, because in his heart, this was the most sacred and inviolable agreement. We promised that you must come back to pick me up. Hearing what Little King Kong said, Athena and Thor looked at each other and suddenly felt that there was no point in fighting. There was no point in arguing in the first place, and now that Little King Kong made the first choice, Athena and Thor also lost their temper and made a pinky promise. Little King Kong took the initiative to become the bottom layer of a human launcher and held the two people and the dog in his arms. 3-person team, human cannon, first level preparation. Little King Kong threw the two people and the dog towards the spaceship fiercely, and he flew farther away because of the mutual force. Woof. Thor was the second to make efforts. In the end, only Athena and the river god were left. Human cannon, fire. Following the soft voice of the river god, Athena flew to the distant spaceship with everyone's hope. After a series of dangerous operations, Athena entered the spaceship. Then, bang, the spaceship hit the debris of the ruins. Little King Kong, well, let her get on the spaceship. She still hasn't figured out the brakes, accelerators, and clutches. Give her some confidence. Confidence is a ghost. The sun is about to shine on my butt. The particle emitter is already starting. Little King Kong was a little crazy, and the particle emitter underground had already lit up blue light. Hey, where are you going? Watching Athena flying the spaceship away, Little King Kong was deeply traumatized. You gods are all liars. Little King Kong looked at the blue light of the particle emitter below, which was getting brighter and brighter, with a look of despair on his face. Hey, get in the car. Little King Kong turned around suddenly and saw Athena driving the battered spaceship to pick him up. A moment later, you stepped on the wrong wheel again. Steering wheel. Turn the steering wheel to the left. Shut up. Perhaps the celestial god spaceship is more durable. Anyway, the spaceship comrade successfully took the 3-person team away from the safe zone. At a safe distance, the 3-person team watched the activation of the particle launcher. With a bang, a huge chestnut came out. It's really a chestnut. Peter looked at the large chestnut on the screen. His first reaction was not that the particle launcher was indeed a chestnut launcher, but that the chestnut seemed to be quite delicious. Janitor was even more curious whether his totten sushi was as big as the chestnut in the chestnut launcher. If it was as big as that chestnut, it would definitely be enough for him to eat for a long time. Probably. Tony always felt that his spirit was tainted, but considering that it was a 2-dimensional world, everything seemed to make sense. That's a cartoon. That's a cartoon. That's a cartoon. Everything in the cartoon is extremely reasonable. Strange stared at the chestnut in a daze, and it seemed that something in his body was gradually awakened. Under the interference of the channel in the screening room, the missing parts were being completed bit by bit. The chestnut flew over the surrounding planets and hit the star, making a bow sound like a drop of water falling into water. Thanos sat on Temple Second, looking at the passing star outside, wondering whether the chestnut was too big or the star was too small. After thinking for a long time, he gave up thinking. Let it go. Originally, there would be more explanation in the previous part, but a female classmate kept complaining to me about the school where she taught. She complained for half an hour and I didn't write a single word. My thoughts were all messed up. Chapter 559. 3-man team, let's go, buddy. The chestnut flew into the star and merged perfectly into the star. The star was like a balloon punctured by a needle, and it exploded in all directions. Then it quickly collapsed into a very dense point under the huge gravity, and finally exploded again, and turned into a black hole. Let's stop fighting. Thor pressed the white button. For the glory of the North God. For the glory of the West God. For my wealth and glory. He, mortal. He, got. Everything seemed so reasonable, except for the oversized chestnut. Most people gave up thinking. Let it go. But Bruce Wayne was different. He was Batman. Bruce Wayne frowned and found that things were not simple. This team is still full of contradictions. The relationship between the 3 members is complicated. From the conversations just now, we can see that Zyojin Gang still doesn't trust the gods, and Athena still has a prejudice against Zyojin Gang, a mortal. In comparison, Thor is more on the same side as the river god. The one with the purest mind should be Mr. River God. He gave me the feeling that he really came here for vacation from the beginning. Athena did not make a mistake this time, and the spaceship flew into the black hole. After passing through the black hole, the three members saw a huge black pyramid before they had time to be happy. That's it. Razbase. Look at that thing. That's Raz patrol boat. Athena turned her head and looked at the meteorite belt at the back door and said, "Let's hide in the meteorite belt before it finds us." The spaceship started, turned into a golden stream of light, and flew past the patrol boat in a swagger. Patrol boat. I have never seen such an arrogant person in my life of patrolling. Or fight them. Athena's pretty face blushed slightly, and it was obvious that she had shifted the gear wrong. Athena drove the spaceship into a hole with a drift. Why did you drive into the hole? Of course, I use the narrow environment in the hole to get rid of it. Next time, before making a plan, please consider your own situation first. You don't even know how to reverse into a parking space, so don't drive in such a winding place. Shut up. Bump, bump, bump. After bumping along the way, the group finally saw an exit. There was a spiral blade on it, which looked like an exhaust vent. Although installing an exhaust fan in a pyramid seems to be full of loops, the universe is full of air, so this doesn't seem to be a very unreasonable place. Go. Boom. Athena lived up to everyone's expectations and crashed the spaceship into the iron wall next to the exhaust vent. When the patrol boat arrived to scan the wreckage of the spaceship, the three-person team had already entered the sewer. Okay, we've successfully sneaked in now. The three-person team groped around for a while and saw an unknown creature sweeping the floor at an exit. It looked like a person. Athena quietly touched the unknown creature's back and stabbed it with a knife. It was useless, except that it made the other party grimaced in pain. This story tells us that a knife is not as effective as a series of methods such as electric shock, knockout drugs, bricks, throat locks, and M1917 American Smith & Wesson. What are you doing? Little King Kong took a step forward and put a bag over the other's head from behind. It seems that he is an expert. Tell me, where is the staff? What are they doing? Although he could accept most of the settings, Peter couldn't help but say, it's impossible for a cleaning staff to know about the staff of creation. Maybe he wants to use this to find out the situation here. Bruce Wayne said, this is Razbase. The interior must be heavily guarded. There is a sentry every 3 steps and a guard every 5 steps. This cleaning staff is responsible for cleaning the environment and should know more than others. But he definitely doesn't know where the staff of creation is. The real location of such a thing is probably only known by the southern god Ra. Staff of creation, I know. Everyone's eyes were on Bruce Wayne, and Wayne's old face flushed. Forgot that the world was not normal and could not be judged by normal circumstances. The elegant voice with a hint of youth said, after leaving here, take bus number 38. The scene switched, and King Kong and his group were waiting for the bus at the bus stop with complicated faces. There was a pedestrian street around them, and there were many ordinary people waiting for the bus with them. Strict security, 1 sentry every 3 steps, 1 sentry every 5 steps. Loki Odinson, Bruce Wayne, listen to my analysis. JPG looking at the bus stop on the screen. Wayne didn't see that this was a military base at all. It was completely a city, and judging from the faces of the residents, they were all living well. Get off at Central Park Station. The 3-person team got off the bus and came to a park. If it weren't for the relief murals in the style of Ra on the gate of the park, the 3-person team would have thought they had gone to the wrong place. In the park, the sun was shining, the air was pleasant, the birds were singing, and the flowers were fragrant. It was a peaceful scene. Isn't Ra the southern god? Why would someone in his territory practice take-eye? I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Go through the park and transfer to line 4 of the subway. The 3-person team got on the subway, except for the fact that the 3-person team couldn't see the human shape. Everything else was fine. This subway is much cleaner than the subway in New York. Peter was inspired. Get off at the Institute station at the end. A skyscraper shaped like an obelisk stands in the center of the city. This style is more like an Egyptian obelisk. Finally, take the elevator to the top floor and you will see the creator's staff. The The 3-person team got on the elevator without any hindrance, and then they saw the creator's staff. Is that all? You are kidding. Little King Kong punched La on the head, and then a group of people came forward to fight. Wait a minute, let's talk it over. How can it be so simple? It's complicated. It's complicated. The young and elegant voice sounded again. First, you must take the dangerous number 38 bus. The scene appeared again, the same place, but this time the 3-person team lay on the sun visor of the bus station, and then stood on the roof of the number 38 bus, and followed the bus. Then, through the suffocating Central Park. It was still the sunny and beautiful Central Park, but this time the 3-person team took the water route. That is, a small river that was so shallow that it could not be dived any deeper, and the pitiful team could only swim in front of it. Then transfer to the terrifying line 4 subway. The subway was indeed terrifying and very crowded. Finally, find a way to sneak into the impossible to reach top floor of the institute. You can find the scepter. So, what's the difference? You didn't spend money on taking the bus or the subway? But the bus and the subway seem to be free. I think this belongs to touching yourself. Did you take a screenshot of the expression of the 3-person team when the guy in the institute saw it? I think that expression can be used as an emoticon package, but I forgot to take a screenshot. Bruce Wayne, sitting on the sofa, was silent. In short, he felt as if he was insulted and not insulted. The whole person was numb. The 3-person team sneaked into the institute without any danger. The sweeper didn't lie to us. That was really the staff of creation. Athena looked at the staff of creation and said, sure enough, Ra has been studying the staff of creation. Guang, do you think there is a possibility? It may not be right. My guess is that maybe in Ra's eyes, the staff of creation may be similar to that in the eyes of the river god. River god, yes, I also think the staff of creation is very ordinary. It is not as useful as the 2 axes in my house. Loki Odinson, this is not a concept. Besides, Ra has been studying the staff of creation for 1,000 years. He must have developed a lot of powerful weapons. That staff of creation must be a fake. Hikari remained silent. It always felt that this research institute was very familiar, especially the security aspect, which was exactly the same as its own Science and Technology Bureau. Little King Kong suddenly said to the others, I think we can't fight alone anymore. We need to work together and play to our strengths. Thor, you are responsible for using lightning to get the surveillance. Then we need a spaceship to evacuate quickly after the scepter is obtained. After a brief thought, Little King Kong handed this task to Athena, the river god beside him without hesitation. What about me? Little King Kong handed a bag of wisdom written on it to Athena and said, if our plan goes wrong, open it again, understand? Athena saw Little King Kong's serious face and knew that this matter was serious, so she immediately took the bag seriously. Okay, let's start. Partners, go. Thor climbed up the ventilation duct and then found a suitable position. The Thor's hammer in his hand flashed with lightning, and the cameras were all scrapped. Little King Kong was ready, tied one end of the rope to the railing and the other end to himself, and prepared to start the action. On the other side, the river god took the elevator downstairs slowly and walked out of the building without any obstruction. The security guard even greeted him when he left. The river god looked at the street and was thinking about where to find a spaceship or a river. Just then, 2 flying cars sped past. Old rules, whoever can beat me can drive away. Let me tell you a stupid comment. When a team of 3 asked where they were pulling, a stupid person posted in the comment, speechless. I watched the replay again. This kind of person is just looking for trouble. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 560, La, sweeping the pipes and singing. Suddenly someone beat me up. Little King Kong landed carefully next to the creation staff. Just as he was about to study how many anti-theft devices were equipped here, a security guard suddenly came over. What are you doing? A hint of embarrassment filled the air. I suddenly had an idea. Peter looked at the awkward moment on the screen and said, "It's just a guess. It may not be right. Is it possible that this security guard actually came to see why the camera suddenly broke down? I think it's very likely. I agree. 1 plus 1. Why was he discovered? How did you follow him?" Little King Kong looked devastated. "Shut up." Athena took out the treasure bag that Little King Kong gave her and quickly opened it to read. Infinite Screening Room, playing Ultron at the beginning, was first published on Kiddy and Shiny's network. Please recognize the genuine version and go to Kiddy and Reading and Questions Reading to pay for reading this book. Everyone has the responsibility to fight against piracy. Angry Athena tore the paper to pieces. So your so-called important task is to read advertisements. It is important to fight against piracy and support genuine products. Besides, you can do anything as long as you don't drive. The two people and the dog were surrounded by guards wearing extremely retro styles. Athena and Thor were holding weapons and ready to fight, but at this moment, the car horn sounded. A handsome luxury spaceship landed in front of everyone with a dragon's tail swinging from the sky. "I won the game. Get in the car." The person in the car was the river god. An extremely fierce air battle unfolded, and a number of patrol boats followed closely behind the river god's car. The river god turned the steering wheel violently, stepped on the accelerator clutch with his cloth shoes, and a 3,600-degree Thomas turn instantly caused the intelligent patrol boats that relied on infrared tracking to collide with each other, turning into fireworks in the sky. And in the car, the most shaking thing was just a glass of boiled water. "You're hiding deep enough," Little King Kong said with admiration. "So you are the real river god." The river god controlled the steering wheel with one hand and said with one hand holding his cheek, "I used to help my father deliver tofu pudding." The river god drifted left and right with his tail behind him, shaking the patrol boat so much that he couldn't find the north. "The exit is in front. They are going to close the door." A dog-headed man was carved on the gate, which was Anubis in Egyptian mythology. The river god drove in calmly. The tunnel became narrower and narrower, and it could no longer support the normal flight of the flying car. "Maybe we can't get through." Little King Kong sitting in the backseat looked panicked. "It's possible." The river god moved the steering wheel, and the whole car changed from flying horizontally to flying vertically, and at the same time accelerated again. "It's possible. It's possible." The flying car gradually accelerated, and the sunlight outside had already hit the face of the river god. At that last moment, the back half of the car was successfully stuck in the door, and it happened to be the part made by Zyojingang that was stuck in the inner door. Do you think there is a possibility that, if Zyojingang can also make it through, they can really get through? What is this? Will determines matter? In Cairo City Prison, the 3-person team was locked in the same interrogation room. "Listen to me, someone will be here later. Don't say anything. Let me do it. I have experience in this matter." The honest river god asked, "How many bad things have you done?" "I can't remember. Anyway, I did everything that could make money. TSK, mortal. There is a girl who is very important to me. I want her to live a better life, so I traveled all over the universe to make money." This time, Zyojingang did not argue with Athena, but spoke his own thoughts. "You are gods. You have wealth and glory. You don't experience birth, old age, sickness, and death. You don't understand. I envy you so much." Faced with Zyojingang's words, the river god said, "You can go wherever you want, but I can't. Gods are born without freedom." Athena also spoke her mind. "I have been asked to fight to protect the peace of the universe since I was a child. I don't have the chance to say no just because I'm the daughter of Zeus. I don't even have the freedom to fall in love with someone." Speaking of this, Athena turned her head to the side, but the blue-purple eyes in her eyes unconsciously turned towards the direction of the river god. "You are always fighting, fighting, and fighting, and never care about the lives of us mortals. So I hate you very much. You have endless money, strong bodies and extraordinary abilities, and you can even live forever, but our lifespan is only 100 years. I have always felt that this is unfair." Little King Kong said to them, "So, I have always hated the gods." But, Little King Kong changed the subject. "You guys are okay. Woof woof woof. Just then, the guard came in and told the 3-person team that the Southern God, the supreme ruler here, was ready to interrogate them personally. La actually came in person. That's normal. How could La not pay attention to such an important thing as the creation staff? I still insist that the creation staff is a fake, and La let it out to fish. Zhao Jingang and the others turned their heads to look outside. The soundproofing equipment here is not good, and they heard the communication between the guards and La clearly. Sir, you come here. What's wrong with your face? Oh my. The 4 hearts of the 3-person team suddenly skipped a beat. I was sweeping the floor just now, and I don't know who suddenly showed up and beat me up. Who is so bold? I don't know. I only know that there are 3 people, plus a dog. The 3-person team. Die. That cleaner is actually Ra. Why was Ra sweeping the floor and was beaten by them? Thinking? I choose to give up thinking and start broadcasting. It can't be that Ra knew they were going to sneak in and waited for them there. Bruce Wayne said, that's not right. It's understandable to catch, kill, and drive them out, but how can he rush to get beaten? And Ra also pointed out the way to find the staff. Logan, are you a little neurotic? Don't you allow Ra to sweep the floor somewhere? Loki Odinson, impossible. Absolutely impossible. Who is Ra, the Southern God? How could he condescend to sweep the floor? Let me say that I'm updating separately now, with 5,000 words for the 5th and 6th volumes respectively. If you want depth, there is depth. If you want to read light, there is light. If the author wants schizophrenia, there is schizophrenia. If you want to break the defense, there is breaking the defense. You want everything. Only the author's injured world is achieved. Cheo. Today I suddenly thought of a new book, although it is just a beginning. I, at the age of 99, have established my foundation because of Tigger. Chapter 561. Two tigers, run fast, run fast. Loki Odinson, there must be a reason for Ra to do this. As the god of the south, Ra must have endless power. How could he be beaten by a mortal, a squinty-eyed man, a woman, and a dog? Loki was very reluctant to accept the fact that Ra was beaten. Ra is the god of the south, and is at the same level as the god of the north, Odin. Odin is the father of heaven. He is the invincible one who suppresses the 9 realms. Ra must also have great power. Otherwise, why would his people obey him? Why would they obey his command? Wouldn't they have rebelled long ago? Peter Parker, Ra didn't use his full strength, the Lord. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. As one of the 4 gods, how could he not completely wipe out the offense of a mortal? Thanos. But it is a fact that Ra was beaten. Ganatha. Maybe Ra is not that strong. Thanos. But even if Ra is only at the level of Athena or Thor, there is no reason why he cannot resist the sneak attack of King Kong. Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan, I do have an interesting idea. Strange, Doctor, I'd like to hear more about it. When everyone saw the strongest boss in the theater speak, they immediately became quiet, wanting to hear what he had to say. Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan, all your guesses are based on Loki's idea, that is, people with high status can definitely fight, but I don't think status and power are necessarily equal. Bruce Wayne, indeed, the president doesn't have a member of the Marine Corps who can fight. Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan, the reason you don't think about it in this way is simply because the other party is a so-called god, or one of the 4 gods, but what about the 4 gods? Doesn't that new use a facial mask anyway? Wanda, do you mean that gods will also grow old? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, from a macroscopic perspective, everyone is immortal, because the particles that make up your body will not be erased, but only decomposed. We will discuss this issue later. My idea is, why should status, lifespan, and combat effectiveness be equated? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, my book has a very interesting topic. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, that is, can Sun Wukong fight? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, although I don't know why a group of ordinary people are obsessed with arguing about this issue, it is indeed very interesting to write, which can help me kill time. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, they believe that the Jade Emperor has lived the longest, so he sat on the throne, so he is the most capable of fighting in the whole heaven. Some people also believe that the level of the world that cannot fight must be lower than the world that can fight. The rest of the content will not be elaborated. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. Their idea is the same as yours, that is, only the strongest person can have the highest status. Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan. No matter how reasonable the words are, if they are not combined with reality, they are all laughable empty talk. As the Southern God, Ra's status is like the emperor among humans. Human society is not the ancient times of barbaric and barbaric. The cruel law of the jungle allows the strongest to have everything. It is entirely possible that the emperor is not as strong as his generals, but the generals still have to obey the emperor's command. The emperor can send the general to the guillotine with just a random order. Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan. Ra is a general. Wanda, I understand. Ra's status has nothing to do with his strength. Status is status, and strength is strength, right? Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan. Yes, whether Ra can fight or not should have nothing to do with his status. Logan, so, who is Sun Wukong? Who is the Jade Emperor? The video continues. It, wearing a robe. It swings are as white as snow. It walked in with a bruised face and a big bump on its head. It is Southern God Ra. Ra's eyes swept over the three-person team and finally stopped at Thor. In this extremely frozen atmosphere, Thor couldn't help it. Meow. Yes, Thor chose to pretend to be a cute cat to get away with it. It can be seen that you are from different starfields. Ra revealed the identities of the three-person team in one sentence. Why did you steal the scepter? Steal. Athena was the first to lose control. You are the traitor who stole the scepter. You want to use the power of the scepter to destroy the world. No. Ra untied the handcuffs of everyone, asked them to change back into their original clothes, and took them to a warehouse. The warehouse was densely packed with countless items, each of which looked extraordinary. Here, Ra tells them, the power of the staff is too strong. If used in the wrong place, it will indeed bring disaster. Then these weapons, they are all made with the power of the staff. Ra told them, but for me, weapons that threaten life are all failed inventions. For example, this glove. Ra pointed to a glove with 7 colored buttons and said to the three-person team, put on this glove. You will gain different superpowers. Get bigger, clairvoyance, clairaudience, invulnerability, water, fire, and so on. But at the same time, before Ra finished speaking, the river god put on the glove. Red, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, red, yellow, green, blue. Listen carefully and you will find that the river god plays 2 tigers. The sound of the buttons being pressed forms a song. This thing is not how to play. Isn't this thing good? What failed? If you press more than 2 buttons on this glove at the same time, it will. Everyone held their breath and looked at the screen intently. What will happen if you press 2 buttons at the same time? Everyone is eager to know the answer. Thanos, could it be a genetic collapse? He couldn't understand the way to gain superpowers by pressing a button, and could only guess that superpowers were gained by modifying the genes in the body. Thanos' guess was not recognized by everyone. They felt that this answer would be very outrageous. Even if the answer that pressing 2 buttons at the same time would cause an instant explosion was far from the current answer, because the real answer must be outrageous to a very weird degree. Today, the school was lifted from lockdown, and I went home. I first reported, and then did the nucleic acid test, and fiddled with it for a day. Chapter 562. Laughter, imagination, and stalks. Then, what will happen? The harmony will appear. You are playing it yourself. Unexpected, but reasonable. I always feel that it is particularly reasonable. Why do I have the urge to do something similar? Is it because I have been too idle recently? The risk level of this kind of discovery is only the lowest. Lars said seriously. Through our research, we found that the universe was a point with infinite mass at the beginning. Janitor, I know. It is a singularity. Tony Stark, janitor, although what you said is consistent with the cognition of most of us, I think we should not jump to conclusions before they give a normal answer. Peter Parker, I think that point must not be called a singularity. Bruce Wayne, Doctor, have you observed the birth of the universe? At Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. I have seen it. My universe was born from a singularity. I can only observe here. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. If I want to break through this time point, I must be able to transcend my universe. The video continues. La said to the 3-person team, we call it the laughing point. 3-person team speechless. Point JPG. The laughing point was poked by the creator's wand, resulting in the Big Bang. In the explosion, two kinds of energy were generated, stupid energy and spit energy. When the two energies were entangled together, a meme was generated. Memes are the basis of all matter, from ants to planets. They are all made up of memes. Tony took a deep breath to calm down, and said, this must be a name. They gave it a name, that's all. Yes, a name, but the different cultures of different universes have caused the difference in names. That's right, it must be like this. They didn't care about anything else. Even if it was hypnosis, even if it was a mental stamp, they had to make themselves accept this explanation. Ah, my worldview. Later, we found the Stork Collider and conducted a Stork collision experiment. Particles. Particle collider, particle collision experiment. Right. We found that if the mass of the Stork is too large and the density is too high, it will form a mass and density of infinite black hole. Brain hole. Thor, I have little education, don't lie to me. This is all theoretical, Athena asked. Ra didn't say much, but brought a few people to an iron gate and pressed his palm. The next second, the iron gate opened, and a black circle that was so dark that it couldn't even reflect light appeared in front of everyone. This is the brain hole. This is a black hole. This is a black hole, black hole, black hole, black hole. It can distort time and space, and it can also devour everything. It can create the world, and it can also destroy the universe. Athena finally remembered her mission after being shocked, and hurriedly said, after all, it was you who created this power. Power itself is neither good nor bad. Pulling her head back, she looked at the team of 3 and said, but people are. I stole the scepter in the hope of using the power in a better place. In the original research institute, many researchers have returned from lunch. This research institute is open, so the route I mentioned at that time is completely fine. If you didn't want to change cars at that time, you could actually take a taxi. It's just that the recent oil price increase has also increased the taxi fare. Here, everyone can conduct various experiments through research on the scepter. La took them to visit the research institute. Not all inventions are failures. La pointed to a helmet with 2 standing ears and said, for example, this invention is very successful, the dog communication device. As long as the dog wears it, the language it speaks will be translated into human language. Hearing this, Thor's eyes couldn't help but be eager, and his heart was beating. The 2 short legs couldn't help but move forward. La deliberately put the dog communication device in front of Thor to show him. It's a pity that you are a cat. I think La is taking revenge. If you don't think so, he is taking revenge. He is too petty? You call him petty? This is magnanimity. Being beaten up is just a prank. If it was someone else, I'm afraid the 3-man team would have been hanged long ago. Loki Odinson, who are you talking about, you mortals? Exclamation mark. Tony Stark, we didn't mention anyone by name. Why are you so anxious? Loki Odinson, you. La led the 3-man team to the French window of the institute, where they could see the entire city. There are many problems in this world that cannot be solved by power and money. Ra raised his hands to praise the sun, and the wings behind him spread out, and he said the result of his thinking over the years. Love is the correct answer. Looking at the carefree people in the city, who are happy every day, Athena couldn't help but say, they are also happy. Athena's fair face flushed slightly, and her eyes unconsciously drifted to the river god beside her. Because there is no threat of war, everyone lives very comfortably. Ra said, this is the peace I want. But when everyone is happily discussing something together, there will always be a kind of person who suddenly jumps out and expresses the opposite opinion. We generally call this kind of person a sad person. Diozio Gangman stopped the tape recorder playing music in the back and said, after talking for so long, you still don't plan to hand over the staff? The staff is only safe with me. Others only want to use the power of the staff to fight. We have come all the way here. We can't go back empty-handed. Why don't you pick out 2 souvenirs? I can give you the gloves. My father is not that kind of person. I think Lady Nuwa is also easy to talk to. Woof. Woof 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 woof. If I hadn't snatched the staff away, they would have already started fighting. Taking the staff back will only trigger an all-out war. Woof 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 woof. If a war starts, we will become enemies. Athena's face suddenly changed. Woof 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 woof. We promised to trust each other. Woof woof. I'm Thor. I'm Thor. Thor, what's wrong with you? Do you want to pee? Ra looked in the direction Thor pointed, only to find that the place where the staff was already a Darian. When did the staff become a Darian? Go to sleep. Good night. Chapter 563. The enemy has 30 seconds to reach the battlefield. Attack with all your strength. Little King Kong drove the spaceship all the way straight out of Ra's pyramid. Little King Kong, what are you doing? Faced with a video call from Athena, Little King Kong said calmly, complete the mission. What if the magic staff really caused an all-out war? That's your business. Got. Faced with Little King Kong's ruthlessness and change of face, Athena was at a loss for a moment. Ra hurriedly took the communicator and said, Little King Kong, this time and space was created by me with the power of the magic staff. You can't get out of it through normal methods. But, I have the magic staff. Little King Kong. Don't mess around. The blue lines on the creation staff emitted a red light, and the space wormhole was instantly activated. The spaceship drilled into the wormhole and disappeared directly into this space. On the planet where Little King Kong was born. As soon as Little King Kong got off the spaceship, someone held a gun to his temple. Zyojin gang, I won't let you escape this time. Who said you want to escape? The red light of the magic wand flashed, and the guy who pointed the gun at Zyojin gang's forehead instantly turned into a baby. His men and another gangster who came to seek revenge screamed and left in fear. This directly turned a person from an adult into a baby. The power of the creation wand still exceeded the expectations of most people. This unreasonable, or rather, it is the power of reason itself, is even a little too terrifying. According to La, that universe was born from the singularity when the creation wand pierced the smile, so it is very likely that the creation wand is not something from that universe at all. The universe was born from the singularity, and the singularity was pierced by the creation wand to give birth to the universe. Then the creation wand should not belong to this universe at all, so it is possible that it has the power to completely ignore all the laws of the universe. In the hospital, Zyojin gang pointed the creation wand at Zyojin, and Zyojin, who was originally a sickly person, instantly recovered. No, it was even better. Zyojin, not only are you healthy now, but you are also immortal like a god. Really? Zyojin jumped up and down and said to Zyojin gang, then I can go on adventures with you. Who wants to take risks? The creation staff emanated a faint scarlet light, and Zyojin gang's face was ferocious, and his eyes were no longer the same brown pupils as before, but had mutated into the same scarlet light as the light emitted by the creation staff. I now have the most powerful force in the universe. Sure enough, he has turned evil. Wayne looked at the Little King Kong on the screen with a different face and said, ordinary people are very likely to lose themselves after gaining great power because the things that could restrain them before no longer exist, and excessive relaxation in their hearts will lead to psychological imbalance. It's like a person who is busy every day for life and suddenly gets $100 million US. He will definitely fall into a short period of confusion and then start retaliatory consumption, crazy spending, just to make up for the difficulties he suffered when he was poor. And after exchanging money for power, the imbalance will only be more serious. Wayne said, after all, no matter how much money you have, it's just money, just a string of numbers, but power is different. Everyone's heart yearns for absolute freedom. No one is willing to be sealed and imprisoned by a layer of shackles. The reason why most people choose to abide by the law is not because they have such a high moral standard, but because they need the law to protect their lives. People choose life over freedom, but once they gain the power to break through this protection, few people can maintain their respect for the law because there is no need for it. At that time, they need to rely on morality. Peter agreed with Wayne's words, but he also disagreed. If he suddenly got 100 million US dollars, he would definitely go shopping. First, he would buy a big house, then buy a gift for Aunt May, and take Gwen to that super expensive French restaurant to eat a French meal that cost a lot of money. I heard that there was a violin performance there, but the powerful power. I really didn't feel anything. Not only did I not feel lost as Mr. Wayne said, but I felt that my pressure was greater and the burden on my shoulders was heavier. When Peter tentatively raised this question, he got a more reasonable answer. Well, Kit, your situation is actually very similar to the residents of the Kingdom of Light who first gained power. That is, your moral level is too high. I'm not worried about you gaining too much power. Tony even joked with his honesty. Even if he turns evil, the worst thing he can do is littering. In fact, the craziest thing he did after turning evil was just dancing on the street. Thanos, a person's state of mind, is also related to a person's cognition. A person who lives in a small house all day long cannot realize the vastness of the universe. You entered the screening room earlier than me, and you should have seen more big scenes than me, such as the infinite Ultron destruction. In the face of the power to destroy the universe, no matter how strong a person's power is, it is difficult to be arrogant. Peter Parker, actually, I'm on the official server, and the infinite Ultron destruction is an internal test. Strange. Another point, your power is not increased suddenly, but becomes stronger little by little. Agwang. At first it was the magic shield, then the fire of Vishanti, and finally I obtained the transformation device of that adult. This is a step, although it is also very fast. It is only a few months away from you becoming an ordinary person, but it can already form a good buffer for you. The video continues. I now have the most powerful power in the universe, and I'm like a god. No, I have surpassed the gods. But, don't you understand? We don't have to take risks anymore. What do you want? Limited edition bags? Full color lipsticks? We can have as many things as we want that we couldn't afford before. Alas. Wayne sighed and said, indeed, Zio Kang still likes the girl named Zio King very much. After obtaining the power of the creation staff, the first thing he did was not to rule the world or plan for himself, but to cure Zio King's illness first, and then to create countless things for her that they could not reach at ordinary times. Wonder, but he didn't see Zio King's thoughts. Although the staff had an impact on her spirit, Zio King wanted to take risks with him more than those messy things. Logan, adventure is not a fun thing. Although this adventure looks funny, Zio Kang and his friends have come from the brink of death, and Zio Kang suffered more when he acted alone before. Zio King obviously doesn't know these things and wants to go on an adventure with Zio Kang. Maybe in her eyes, adventure is similar to the Dragon Quest in fairy tales. If I were in your place, I would definitely not want to take an adventure in this life. Wonder, the key is the form. The form. Logan, what's the form? This is not playing house. Holy Lord. Mortals are still mortals, and their vision is so small. With such terrible power, they are just used to create these useless things. Thanos, that's right. The creation staff should be used for more important things. At least in Lars' hands, the creation staff is still used correctly. In the hands of Zio Kang, the creation staff will only be covered in dust. Wonder, you. Forget it. The video continues, but we agreed to go on an adventure. Zio King turned out from the messy bags, stretched out her hook finger and asked, do you remember our agreement? Seeing Zio King's outstretched hand, Zio Kang's brain felt a sharp pain, and his eyes became clear again. The scollard lines on the creation staff once again regained their blue glow. Zio King. Zio Jin Gang, what trouble have you caused again? When the old dean's words came, Zio Jin Gang immediately noticed the wanted order on TV. Got he. A fleet consisting of dozens of small ships and a mothership landed here. Nu was sat in the command room of the mothership and broadcast to the planet, warning Zio Jin Gang to hand over the staff immediately. But the other two main gods who heard the news asked Zio Jin Gang to hand over the staff and to give it to them. For thousands of years, the resentment that had been accumulated for a longer period of time was completely ignited after Zio Jin Gang used the power of the staff to fan the dark wind and light the ghost fire, and the war between the three gods was completely ignited. You've been arguing for thousands of years. Let's have a fight. Come on. I've been annoyed with you for a long time. CF. Start. CF. Start. Happy landlord. Start. Grab the landlord. Why are you playing landlord? The systems are different. Okay. I'm happy with that. What kind of explanation is this? Seeing the three main gods who started fighting the game without saying a word, everyone gradually got used to it. It makes no difference to the three main gods how they fight. Constantine said, if I'm not mistaken, this is just a game for them. This fleet is not as big as the human fleet that was wiped out by the Trisolarans and the three-body problem. Can this level of battle really be called an interstellar war of gods? Obviously, it can't be. Hikari said, if they say they don't care, they even take it very seriously. However, according to the importance of the creation scepter to the three main gods, there is no reason for them not to go all out. So is this really all they have? The enemy will arrive at the battlefield in 30 seconds. Attack with all our forces. When I think about going back to school and having to go to class as usual and not being able to type in class, I feel so good. Exclamation mark. Chapter 564, The Destroyed Screening Room. The battle between the three main gods was very intense. On the surface, it looked very intense, but after a long time, no one was injured. I don't know what they were fighting for. It's impossible that the planet of Little King Kong is the only one in the universe with a shipyard, right? Peter put forward his own wonderful idea. What do you mean? Although I don't want them to expand the war, it's really hard not to think too much about this level of battle. Either they are keeping a backup plan, or they usually fight like this. There is indeed another possibility, that is, they are all hiding, guarding against the fourth party that may enter the scene at any time. You mean, la. Little King Kong returned to the ground with a red electric light, and the creation staff in his hand once again restored the faint scarlet light. Little King Kong, give the creation staff back. Give it back. Little King Kong squatted on the ground, stroked the staff and said, the staff is mine. Mine, my precious. Does anyone know the origin of this joke? I know. Little King Kong's face was hideous and distorted, but Zio King showed a speechless expression. At this moment, a huge space-time wormhole appeared in the sky, and a pyramid as big as a planet flew out of it, causing everyone to exclaim. At this moment, it was exactly 30 seconds before the battle started. Now, everyone is here. In the Black Pyramid, the river god, Athena and Thor stood in the command room. Athena looked at the three teams and had a headache on her face. Sure enough, they have started fighting. We have to make them stop first, and then we can go find the creation staff. But the other side has 3 fleets, and we only have 1 pyramid. At this moment, the energy shield of the Black Pyramid automatically started and blocked the attacks of the 3 fleets. We must not let Ra get the staff ! Quote asterisk 3 At this moment, the 3 main gods seemed to be particularly united, without any of the life and death struggle they had before. Anubis immediately said to his subordinates who were wearing masks similar to eagles and vultures, Cabe Shanaf, start counter-attacking immediately. You can't attack. Ra said to Anubis, we are here to mediate, we can't take the initiative to attack. If we do, this place will really be out of control. But how can we mediate if we don't knock them down? Main god, activate the Star Destroyer and the Void Force Field. Absolutely not. Ra still insisted on his theory at this moment. I said, I don't want to see anyone die in the war. What should we do? Mediate the fight first. Only if we convince one side to join us, the other 2 sides will temporarily stop because of fear. I know them. Then hello, Lady Nuwa. The river god took out his cell phone and called Nuwa. Hello, Lady Nuwa. It's like this, you all misunderstood. Lara is not a bad guy. Yes, he didn't use the magic wand to do bad things. So, can you stop fighting and join us to stop the war? Thank you, Lady Nuwa. Okay, wait for the reply. Don't leave a voice message at this time. And Thor pressed a button. Perhaps the information protection is not in place, or the elderly do not understand the importance of firewalls. Tony successfully got through the communication on Odin's spaceship, and it was a video communication. Thor? Odin was considering whether to take 3 with 1 or not, and suddenly saw Thor. Thor solemnly put on a machine. Dog communication device. This name seems to be getting weirder and weirder. Dad. Odin was too lazy to think about it and asked quickly, Thor, you can speak. I don't want those people who are just messing around. Why do they have to fight each other? Why can't they do their own things? Why can't they listen to philosophy properly? Note 1. Odin was shocked after hearing this and said with tears in his remaining old eye, Thor, what are you talking about? I can't understand it at all. Did anyone understand it? No. +1 it should be a dialect of Chinese. Anyway, I didn't understand it either. Wayne said that his identity as a language master was challenged. He is a language master who is proficient in hundreds of languages. But he didn't seem to have learned this before and could only barely hear that it was a variant of Chinese, which should be a dialect. Why is it translated into dialect? Athena gnashed her teeth in anger. There is also a version in the village of Mario Brothers. It's even more incomprehensible. That's a language created by the director himself. Athena, who was so angry that she collapsed, finally realized that these male creatures were not reliable at all, and she had to be self-reliant. Athena? After Zeus connected, he saw his daughter at first sight, turned around and asked, La, are you going to hold my daughter hostage to threaten me? Father, you misunderstood. Zeus? La walked to Athena's side with his eyes wide open and said, how could I bear to hurt your daughter? Then do you still remember the diary you wrote 5,000 years ago? Athena felt something was wrong. I remember too. Who asked me to borrow half an eraser? Who on earth read the letter I wrote to you? Who put up your long hair? Wait a minute. Athena forcibly interrupted the sentimental moment of the two people, and goosebumps were already all over the floor. You betrayed us. Please play automatically. You, my deskmate. Wait a minute. Attack. What on earth happened between you two? Why are you always so stubborn? La spread his light wings, holding the ankh, and closed the golden falcon mask on his head. It seems that I can only explain it to you in person. La turned into a stream of light and rushed out of the energy shield. Countless lasers fell down, and in front of La, they all disappeared instantly like snowflakes falling on the sun. Is this the true strength of Ra? Seeing Ra advancing by himself against the firepower of half of the battlefield and directly breaking through Zeus' energy defense network, everyone suddenly realized that perhaps everything before was just a joke for them. Zeus? Ra rushed into Zeus's main ship. The energy shield that could resist countless attacks was not even as good as A4 folded in half in front of Ra. The energy shield of the western main ship disappeared. This is a good opportunity. They are all old rivals. Zeus knows very well what his old friends are thinking now. He immediately ordered his men around him. Don't worry about Ra. Restart the energy shield immediately. Zeus, listen to me. You, Zeus, in a rage, held his sword and slashed it. Traitor. Tick. The long sword cut through the air, and golden blood dripped along the sword. Why don't you hide? A scar was scratched across La's left eye. Perhaps it was the special power of the gods. In the next second, the wound on La's face had scabbed over and stopped bleeding, leaving only a scar. I won't run away again. La raised his head, looked at Zeus and said, I thought running away could solve the problem, but I was wrong. We all misunderstood the meaning of the prophecy. Just then, a laser aimed at Zeus' chest. Use this trick while the shield is gone. You are the only one who knows how to play CF. La's previous move completely disrupted the energy field of the main ship's shield, and a sniper had already aimed at Zeus. A laser aimed at the blade. It was the Spirit Fox. Compare with me. Nuwa's strange desire to compare suddenly came up and waved her hand, saying, I have it too. Don't make trouble. A big word appeared on the red cloth on the face of the waiter behind him, and his face was collapsed. Sure enough. Wayne nodded and said, the main god game theory has made great progress. A golden armored general holding a longbow aimed at the soul. Let's not talk about why the longbow has a laser sight. Anyway, the laser aimed at the golden armored general again. Oh, it was a bronze saint holding a slingshot. Then a Viking holding a camera aimed his camera at the saint, and an orc holding a brick aimed at the Viking. Wait a minute, I'm a little confused. Nuwa covered her face. Why does the brick have a laser sight? The river god asked puzzledly. Yes, why? Janitor asked puzzledly, and aren't they in the universe? Why is the background of the sniper a city, desert, palace and wilderness? Janitor turned his head and looked. Everyone else looked like their brains were overloaded, and they all collapsed on the sofa and hung up. For the tribe. The orc suddenly sounded behind him, and the orc threw the brick in his hand out. Zeus, be careful. La took a step and blocked Zeus. The Viking was hit in the head by a brick, and pressed the shutter of the camera. La. Zeus took a step to block in front of La. The bronze saint was blinded by the flash and accidentally let go of the stone on the slingshot and flew out. Zeus. La took a step to block in front of Zeus. The stone hit the forehead of the golden armored general, and the golden armored general let go of his hand, and the arrow hit the thigh of the spirit fox. La. Zeus took a step to block in front of La. The spirit fox's bullet hit the stone pillar next to Blade, and Blade fired. Zeus. La took a step to block in front of Zeus. The gunshot, feathers flying. What a touching friendship. In the screening room, everyone except Kanata and the river god. The whole team was wiped out. The author is classic, and adds combat power. Note 1, I blocked the subtitles, and listened to it 3 times, and roughly understood this thing. Probably anyway. Chapter 565. True Strength, Obelisk Energy Array, Rainbow Bridge Portal, Mountain and Sea Realm. Of course that was impossible, they just couldn't work properly, and their CPUs burned out. When Athena, the river god and Thor felt it, Ra was lying in Zeus' arms, dying. Ra, why are you? Zeus. Ra said with his dying breath, listen, how quiet it is. Outside, because of this shot, the entire battlefield ceased fire. The war has finally stopped. There is one thing I must tell you. Ra slowly stretched out a finger and said, it's about the staff. Staff, what's wrong with the staff? Speaking of the staff, we have been fighting for thousands of years, and I almost forgot how good friends we used to be. Zeus's side of the screen was also broadcast, live or nod in Anua's side. Hearing what Ra said, the two of them were silent. Don't worry about it, you'll be fine. What's wrong with the staff? The identity of a god is really a curse. Zeus looked helpless, and Dodin also dropped a drop of cold sweat from his forehead. Can you please get to the point? If I could start over, how I would like to be immortal. Be a small clerk, work overtime, time chicken, RNM. Give me back, and pay the mortgage or something. Okay. Noah was about to collapse. You can do whatever you want. So where is the magic rod? Do you still remember? When the universe first opened, the 4 boys running in the sunset, how happy we were at that time. Don't reminisce anymore. By the way, about the magic rod. At this point, he rolled his eyes and said, I'm dead. You didn't say anything about the magic rod. The 3 main gods completely collapsed, and Zeus's painting style turned grey and white. Revenge for the adults. Railgun, fully activated. They were numb, but someone was crazy. Ra governed his pyramid world very well, and all the pyramids loved Ra. Ra died at the hands of other gods. Anubis, as Ra's adjutant, went completely berserk. Charge the Ankh energy. Get all those old things together. Fight them. Lord Anubis, Lord Ra asked to seal all these things. Yes, so if you die, if you have a strong power, if you listen to me, just beat these bastards down, and you won't have to die. But, that still requires the citizens. Anubis picked up the microphone in the command room and broadcast to the entire pyramid. Residents, I'm Anubis, Lord Ra, the god has fallen. He died at the hands of the main gods of the other 3 gods, and it was those bastards who killed Lord Ra. Anubis's voice and image were transmitted to the entire pyramid, and the residents who were still taking refuge in an orderly manner were all stunned when they heard the news. Their most beloved Lord Ra, the god has fallen. I beg you to agree to me. I want to activate the pyramid's armed system. Revenge for the adults. Please. Silence filled the entire pyramid, and then revenge. Revenge for the adults. Fight them. Fight them. The people were outraged, and the citizens of the pyramid agreed to the activation of the arsenal. The number of applications passed soared, and finally, it reached the required 80%. Set Mech Core, charging completed. Horus Annihilator Group, charging completed. Oris Hive System, restarted. ISIS Virus Database, started. Artificial Intelligence Sphinx has been activated, and is on standby at any time. Obelisk Energy Array start. Densely packed mechas rushed towards the three fleets. Raz's death made the pyramid completely crazy. At this moment, the three main gods remembered that this pyramid was the core of Raz's southern god group. I can't help it. Odin stopped acting, poked the ground with a wooden spear, and shouted, Heimdall. Rainbow Bridge transmission system activated. Asgard combat readiness activated. Endless rainbow light descended from the sky, and in the rainbow light, legions walked out. Asgard Berserker Legion in biological armor, Asgard Archer Legion equipped with neutrino guns, Asgard Royal Guards driving golden mechas as high as 100 meters, Valkyrie Legion riding Pegasus and holding spears. You are serious with me, but, very good. Nuwa took out a chip card, and the waiter behind her hurriedly tried to stop her, but it was too late. System authentication completed, mountain and sea realm activated. Countless mechas rushed towards the three fleets, and when a batch of mechas were about to contact Nuwa's fleet, they suddenly exploded. Book of Mountains and Seas, where do you stand? The giant blade swept across. Countless mechas were instantly destroyed, and the owner of the giant blade walked out of the space wormhole. Overseas Western Classics, Xingtian. Countless space channels opened, and terrifying figures walked out one by one. Endless flames gushed out, burning the void. South Mountain Classics, Phoenix. A giant python coiled up, swallowing the sky and the earth. Sea Southern Classics Bash. A violent storm followed, and a five-clawed dragon grew wings on its back, surrounded by clouds and rain. Great Wilderness Eastern Classics Yinglang. There was a nine-headed snake body, and a sea of blood attacked wildly. Overseas Northern Classics Xiangyu. Light and darkness alternated, and the sun and the moon rotated. Human head snake body, red body. The Lord of Pandu, dragon head snake body. God of Zhongshan, Zhu Yin. Only Zeus was unable to use his ultimate power immediately due to the death of La, and instantly became the weakest of the three forces. On the ground. After the gods got serious, the entire planet began to crumble under the influence of the gods. Xiaojin came to Xiaojin Gang against the hurricane, and said to Xiaojin Gang, return the magic staff to them. Return. Xiaojin Gang's face was half blocked by his hair. He said in a low voice, I just want the gods to fight. I just want to watch them kill each other. Is this the true strength of the gods in the world of the river gods? Looking at the battlefield that escalated in an instant, everyone finally confirmed that the previous battle was just a joke among these gods, and the current battlefield is the real battle of gods. Loki Odinson, yes, this is the true strength of our Asgard. I'm waiting for someone to tell me that Zhu Yin should be Zhu Jiuyin, the ancestor of time among the 12 ancestor witches. If someone tells me, I'll take a screenshot and post it in the book review section, so that we can all watch it together. Chapter 566. The Milky Way is also a river. Zeus embraced Raz's corpse. His face, which was old but energetic, looked like a deflated inflatable doll, draining away all its energy. Zeus looked as if he had aged hundreds of thousands of years. He looked extremely old. Athena. Zeus' voice was old, and filled with regret and fatigue. I think I was wrong. We were all wrong. Zeus stood up slowly, and summoned a spear made entirely of thunder, which was the symbol of the power of the Lord of the Western Gods and the King of the Western Gods, and handed it to Athena. This is my weapon, and also my divine staff Thunder. Now, I will give it to you, Athena, my daughter. From now on, you are the only heir to my throne. No, you are now the Western God King. Father. The thunder fell into Athena's hands, and turned into a scepter. The scepter was taller than Athena, golden in color, with a statue on the top. This was the symbol of power of the Western God King, and it would automatically change shape according to its owner. In Zeus' hands it was thunder, and in Athena's hands it was the golden staff of the goddess of victory. Use your own way, to end the sins committed by our generation. From now on, the highest command authority of Mount Olympus is yours. Athena immediately felt a terrifying pressure like Mount Olympus pressing on her shoulders, but she gritted her teeth, forced herself to calm down, and quickly analyzed the situation on the battlefield. Because of Raz's death, Raz's Pyramid Legion also joined the battlefield. Compared with the previous small-scale play, the Pyramid Legion is fully fired. Even if Mount Olympus has the same strength as the other three legions, it must have 3 Mount Olympus, to be on par with the three. Yes. The river god smiled and said, the Milky Way is also a river. Nyang Nyang Nuwa. A woman in green clothes with wings on her back came behind Nuwa. It's King Gluan. How many times have you told me to call me Lady Nuwa? Nuwa asked without turning her head. I'm a little regretful now that I'll let these old guys out, but if I call them back, will it make me look particularly embarrassed? Nyang Nyang, look over there. I told you to call me Lady Nuwa. What's going on over there? Nuwa turned her head and found that Zeus's main ship had left the main battlefield at this moment. Is this old guy going to run away? Or is he planning to hide and reap the benefits? It was not only Nuwa who discovered that the western main ship had left the battlefield, the other two parties also discovered it. The pyramid immediately sent troops to pursue, and Razbody was still on the western main ship. Odin also sent troops to pursue, and a giant wolf as big as a main ship bypassed his brother who was entangled and biting with the Bashan, and chased the western main ship that was going away. Who will go? Zhuyin asked lazily with his eyes wide open, not even willing to close his vision. He felt that Nuwa was making a fuss by calling him out. He was the god of Zungshan. When he opened his eyes, it was day, and when he closed his eyes, it was night. When he exhaled, it was summer, and when he inhaled, it was cold. Nuwa asked him to deal with these guys. It was boring. The orphan on the Fusang tree passed by. Yinglang flapped his wings, and countless groups of Horus fighters exploded. That's fine. Zhuyin said lightly. Don't take it too seriously. Just a group of little guys have to pull out our group of old gods. Let's go. Run. Fenrir and a ball of fire chased the mothership not far away. Seeing that the fireball was about to approach, Zeus suddenly broke away from the mothership. Athena, my child, I have always asked too much of you. Zeus' voice echoed in Athena's mind. Remember the time when your father took you to the Crete Peninsula when you were a child? Father? Zeus appeared in space, looking at the oncoming fireball and giant wolf, and smiled crookedly. Although I'm old, I'm still Zeus. Aegis. A sheepskin fell. Zeus reached out and picked up the sheepskin shield, blocking himself in front of him, and also blocking the path of the fireball and the giant wolf. The fireball burst out with a sharp cry and slammed into Aegis, Zeus' shield, fiercely. However, the starfire could not burn the sheepskin shield. The giant wolf roared, wanting to swallow Zeus in one bite, but saw a lightning strike, and a hammer carrying the power of thunder and lightning came into close contact with the giant wolf's canine teeth. Ah! The giant wolf was hit on its back by this pitiful hammer that was smaller than him, and even the canine teeth that it was proud of were broken. Thor. Odin saw Thor personally blocking Fenrir who was chasing him, and he was also furious, and he left the main ship and rushed over. I'm Thor. The small Shibarinu and the sky-swallowing giant wolf formed a very sharp contrast, but the Shibarinu was not afraid at all, and even raised a middle finger to the giant wolf. Woof, woof woof woof. You, come here. Ah. For the glory of the North God. The giant wolf opened its mouth, and was about to swallow Thor, but Thor did not dodge, and was about to die with the giant wolf. You stupid dog. A green light lit up, and the giant wolf that swallowed the sky instantly turned into foam, and drifted away with the wind. Woof, woof 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 woof. Thor was stunned, and then he cried with tears in his eyes. Loki? Odin looked at the skinny black cat that came out of the space tunnel in disbelief. Stop shouting. It's so noisy. The black cat looked disgusted and tried hard to push Thor away from him, but judging by its strength, it seemed to be half-hearted. In the distant galaxy, Athena held up the golden staff of the goddess of victory. Our journey is to the Sea of Stars. The Olympus system is activated. Authentication is successful. Welcome to land. The new generation of God King, Athena. A huge mountain appeared in the Milky Way. The temple of Zeus at the highest point was lowered by one level, and Athena's Parthenon climbed to the highest peak. Looking at Mount Olympus entering the Milky Way, a crazy idea suddenly appeared in everyone's mind. I heard that the river god can take out 3 axes, a golden axe, a silver axe and an ordinary axe, and it was taken out from the river. Several people looked at each other and looked at the smiling squinting eyes. No way. A dazzling light burst out in the Milky Way, and the countless stars seemed to flow at this moment, like a real river. One by one, the stars rose, as if something was about to drill out of this Milky Way. A huge sound of water sounded, and a squinting eye with a silver-haired bun actually drilled out of the Milky Way. Is that the river god? Noah looked at the huge giant in disbelief. River god, can you use it like this? Zhu-Yin and other old gods opened the passages of the mountain and sea realm and evacuated. Those who have lived longer know this guy, and know that he has a big killer in his hand. The old gods who don't want to have their heads split open evacuated one after another. Young Athena, what you dropped? Is this Golden Mount Olympus and this group of golden fighters? A Golden Mount Olympus appeared from the Milky Way. Everything was the same as the original Mount Olympus. A large number of fighters in golden armor appeared running, and the momentum was even better than the original ones. It's still this silver Mount Olympus and this group of silver fighters. The same appearance, but what appeared was the silver version of Mount Olympus and the silver fighters. Or is it this ordinary Mount Olympus and ordinary fighters? Warriors, let us end this war. No monkey was found. Disappointed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 567, Little King Kong, I'm the protagonist. You. Everyone looked at the river god. Their eyes were like looking at a monster. What on earth is going on here? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. I can't analyze your approach. How did you do that on the screen? River god, because I can make things that fall into the river appear in gold and silver. Bruce Wayne, are there no restrictions? And is the Milky Way also a river? River god, yes, as long as it has a river in it, it's fine. Like the river of time, the river of the underworld, all of these names with a river in them are fine. It's reasonable, right? Ace, this is the most unreasonable part, isn't it? K76. Interesting, it's actually a concept god. Kingo was a little shocked. What does a concept god mean? The god of time is a concept god. Because time itself is not an existing substance, but a concept, and the river god is all the gods with the concept of a river. Ace, the king just sent me a message. The king said that the river god is a concept god. As long as the name contains the word river, as long as it has the concept of river, in other words, as long as it is a river, it can be under the command of the river god. Ace, it seems a bit difficult to understand. Bruce Wayne, no, I think I understand. This may be directly related to the setting. Guang, setting? Bruce Wayne, it's like a character in a book. The author adds a certain ability to this character, such as being able to smash a stone with one punch. No matter what kind of stone it is, no matter how powerful the punch is, as long as it is a punch, as long as it hits a stone, it can be smashed. This is a setting. Bruce Wayne, as for the river god, his setting is that he can split things that fall into the river into 3 parts. No matter what kind of river it is, as long as there is the concept of river, no matter what it is, as long as it falls into the river, it can be split into 3 parts by the river god. Loki Odinson, this is unreasonable. Thanos, this makes sense. Each of us has a setting, but some are more ordinary. For example, my setting can be said to be a titan, and the setting of the titans is a race with the strongest body and wisdom under the god level. Peter Parker, now I understand what you said. I thought this kind of thing only existed in the 2-dimensional world. Gandalf, then what is my setting? Peter Parker, that should only be known by you. You can think about your own characteristics and the differences between you and others. Wanda, look. The video continues relying on 3 times the troops, plus the old god summoned by Noah who didn't want to run away with their heads split open. The battle was finally settled. But at this moment, a red light broke through the sky, and in an instant, the silver version of Mount Olympus was split into 2. Fight. Why don't you fight? The little King Kong holding the staff looked at the gods in the sky and smiled disdainfully. If you don't fight, I will. What are you still standing there for? Fight back. The Mangzi is always the first to take action. At Odin's command, the Northern God Corps, which had just stopped firing, once again rushed down. The first to bear the brunt were the Asgard Valkyrie Corps. The tall Valkyries rode Asgard Pegasus and rushed towards the little King Kong below like a torrent. The little King Kong pointed his staff, and countless scarlet spears formed around him. The spears shot out, and the Valkyries were hit and pierced through their bodies. The next second, they fell like dumplings. Then the Asgard Berserker Infantry Corps fell to the ground one after another, surrounding the little King Kong. The Berserkers wore biological mechas, holding sharp axes and huge hammers. The energy lines on their bodies, like blood vessels, continued to expand, and all entered the violent mode. Empress? I told you to call me Lady Nuwa. Nuwa frowned, and suddenly, she saw that the little King Kong below had merged with the staff. This is what Ra wanted to tell you. Athena, who had just commanded the Saint Seiya Corps of Mount Olympus to forcibly stop the war, had not yet breathed a sigh of relief, and hurriedly said, the staff can amplify the power of the user, but the darkness in his heart will also be amplified. Now the little King Kong has been swallowed by hatred. The dark liquid clung to the body of the little King Kong, and the red lines turned into a complete rune, just like the original creation staff, emitting a terrifying red light. Where the eyes were originally, 2 round red light spots appeared, like endless anger. Got. Little King Kong in the creation scepter mode exuded a hoarse voice. A red light flashed from the Asgard Berserker Corps, and countless mechas exploded. The Asgard Berserker Corps, which once suppressed a quarter of the universe, and was famous for its prestige, couldn't even get through a single move in little King Kong's hands. Ah! The crazy little King Kong screamed to the sky. At this time, the scene around him suddenly changed, and turned into a chaotic space, with ruins, flames, and corpses everywhere. This little King Kong is really a mentally twisted lunatic. When Nuwa saw this scene, even she was scared and wanted to kill little King Kong completely. Nuwa, wait a minute. Enough. King Glidden said to call me Nuwa. Oh, it's Athena. What's wrong? Nuwa looked at the screen, and asked while trying to maintain elegance. Sister Nuwa. Hey, what's the matter, Athena? Hey. Zeus glared and shouted, we are of different generations. Hey, Dad, shut up. Athena said to Nuwa on the screen. Sister Nuwa, Xiao Gang is not a bad guy. Not a bad guy? Look at the scene in my mountain and river map, and you tell me he is not a bad guy? Nuwa pointed at the screen and said, enter my mountain and river map, and you will see mountains. When you think of mountains and water, when you think of water, the scene here is what he wants to see most in his heart. He is a lunatic who wants to destroy the world. Please believe me. Athena said, although Xiao Gang was greedy and disloyal before, I believe he has a kind heart. He must have been influenced by the scepter. This is a major event concerning the universe. Odd and also connected to the communication. Girl, this is not something you can decide based on your feelings. We are gods and are responsible for this universe. Now that you have taken your father's scepter, you must bear the responsibility that your father has carried for tens of millions of years. The responsibility of protecting this universe. Athena was stunned by this question. For the first time, she felt the weight of the golden staff of the goddess of victory in her hand. Yes, she was Athena before, the daughter of Zeus, and she only needed to listen to adults. But now, she is an adult, and one of the most powerful people in the universe. Athena's forehead was covered with sweat, and the pressure on her shoulders suddenly seemed as heavy as the entire universe. She was afraid. At this moment, she suddenly understood why her father often seemed so ruthless in her eyes. Athena. Noah looked at the stunned Athena and said, as the main god of the West, your status is the same as the three of us. I will give you a chance to give me a reason that can convince me. Otherwise, even if you are willing to take this responsibility, I will not agree to it. I believe in little King Kong, too. Athena turned her head and looked at the visitor. The visitor took Athena's hand and said to Nuwa on the screen, Lady Nuwa, I support Athena. Your support is useless. Go play. Athena stared at the river god blankly. For the first time, she felt that the image of the river god was so tall, and the originally soft voice was now far superior to the divine song, played by the waiters in the temple of Zeus. Not good. Noah looked at the monitor fiercely. The little King Kong possessed by the creation staff gradually began to realize that something was wrong here, and began to destroy the world inside. Athena. 1 minute ultimatum. If you can't tell me the reason in 1 minute, I will activate the mountain and river state map to suppress and kill Little King Kong. Even if it means destroying the creator stuff, I will do it. Woof. Thor looked at Odin pitifully. Odin looked at Thor, squatted down and touched Thor's dog head, and said, Thor, it's not that Daddy is cruel, but Little King Kong is just like Loki back then. They both threaten this universe, so Daddy must lock Loki under the world tree, like he did back then. What about Loki? Cough cough cough. She pulled Zaya King out of the previous ruins. Looking at the mecha wreckage all over the ground and the one Valkyrie core shot down by Little King Kong, the two ordinary people were stunned. Girl. Who? Want? A black cat walked out of the shadows, showing an evil smile and asked, save your little lover, and save the world at the same time. Asgard. Loki looked at the black cat on the screen, and he didn't feel too disgusted. Instead, he thought this version of himself was pretty good. At first glance, he looked like the operator behind the scenes. This kind of role was very appealing to Loki. And Odin's words before seemed to reveal that he was locked up because he threatened the universe, which was even better. Anyway, he already had the alligator Loki, so Loki didn't mind having a black cat version of himself. Besides not being humanoid, this self didn't fit his characteristics. Astute, powerful, farsighted, of extraordinary status, and had been in jail for many years. Cross out the last paragraph. Loki shook his head. Why did he set himself up to be in jail for many years? Chapter 568, Zaya King, our agreement. We will never change it for 100 years. That cat is Loki? That's not surprising. If we use the previous statement, the setting of this cat is quite similar to Loki. Tony said mercilessly. It's insidious and cunning, looks gloomy, likes to play some magic, and has been in jail for many years because of committing crimes. And black cats, like Loki, symbolize disaster and bad luck. Loki Odinson, at. Image continues. That's my reason. Athena looked at Nuwa and Odin, and stated her reason. Just because of the love of a mere mortal, you dare to judge that he will not destroy the universe? Odin shook his head and said, girl, you are still too young. Although I'm very touched. Nuwa took out a tissue and wiped the corners of her eyes, then said mercilessly, but I refuse. This is not the TV series I watch. Just let the girl named Zaya King shout a few words. Nuwa said, even if Zyojin Gang said what you said, the current Zyojin Gang has gone crazy. Just when the two sides were arguing, the demonized Zyojin Gang and the Shansheja had already noticed the problem here, and directly began to destroy the environment here. Wait a minute, Nuwa. A voice sounded behind Nuwa, and in the shadows, the black cat walked out. Hey, why do you have to come out of the shadows every time you appear? The black cat licked his paw and said, it's not important. I can convince you with practical actions. Then you'd better hurry up. Nuwa looked at the map of mountains and rivers, and saw that the map of mountains and rivers changed again. I didn't control it. Nuwa was stunned, and then looked at Loki. Don't panic. Don't panic. Watch me operate. Little King Kong. An old voice sounded. Stop. Don't fight anymore. Do you have to destroy this place? This is the place where you grew up. A red light swept across, and Dinshi's body was torn into pieces, and the gate of the grassland orphanage behind him was also broken. The demonized Little King Kong was stunned for a moment, and then began to accumulate strength again. He wanted to destroy this place completely. Help. Cries and cries for help came, but the demonized Little King Kong didn't move at all. This kind of cry was not worth mentioning to him. But, that voice is so familiar, a brief thought flashed through his mind, and was immediately crushed by the endless tyranny. Zhao Huang, hurry up. The demonized Little King Kong destroyed a street with his hands, and behind the street was a couple. Zhao Hong, I won't leave. What are you doing? Odin urged, hurry up and transform into a few powerful mechas. Shut up. X2. Loki licked his paws leisurely and said slowly, a good drama. Supporting roles are also indispensable. The demonized Little King Kong stared blankly at the scene in front of him. Even the endless tyranny in his mind was temporarily stopped at this moment. Because Zhao Huang grabbed Zhao Hong's hand, stretched out his little finger, and hooked it around Zhao Hong's little finger. Have you forgotten our agreement? We agreed that we would go on an adventure when you recover from your illness. We agreed, we made a promise, and we can't change it. Promise, Xiao King. The promise between Xiao King and me. The demonized Xiao Jingang's body trembled wildly, just like an epileptic patient having an attack. With the blessing of the magic staff, Xiao Jingang's will gradually began to equalize with the original tyranny in his mind. This is also the original ability of the magic staff. It can amplify everything. Although the dark side has an absolute upper hand, Xiao Jingang's original emotions are also strengthened. Boom. The house collapsed. Xiao Hong was completely buried in the ruins. Xiao Huang dug the ruins frantically, muttering, Xiao Hong, hold on. We agreed to go on an adventure together. Xiao King. Xiao Jingang roared to the sky and ran towards the grassland orphanage that he had destroyed before. Xiao King. Xiao King. Xiao King. Xiao Jingang searched in the ruins. He opened the swing. The memory of him and Xiao King playing here in Kaian Kyo in the middle of summer came to his mind. He kicked open the abandoned doghouse. There used to be a big dog here. Xiao King was very afraid of it. Every time he passed by here, he brought Xiao King with him. He put his head down into the well. When they were playing hide and seek as children, Xiao King once hid in the well. He and the dean had to search for Xiao King for a long time before they found her. At that time, there were rumors in the city that human traffickers had come. He was so worried that he cried. Finally, Xiao Jingang came to a half-ruined house. This was the house where he and Xiao King lived together. Xiao Jingang walked into the house blankly and saw Xiao King lying in a pool of blood, trying to open her eyes, as if looking for something. Xiao King, you will be fine. I have a magic wand. I have divine power. I will heal you. The lines on Xiao Jingang's body burst into an unprecedented light. Under the illumination of this light, Xiao King slowly opened her eyes. Xiao King stretched out her hand tremblingly and said in an extremely weak voice, you are here. Xiao King, you will be fine. You will be fine. You will be fine. The more the red light grew, the colder Xiao Jingang's heart became, because Xiao King had only recovered the last bit of strength. I'm sorry. Xiao King stretched out a trembling hand, stretched out her little finger, and coughed up a mouthful of blood. The blood fell on Xiao Jingang's face, as if it had turned into a tear, falling down Xiao Jingang's face. I broke my promise. I can't go on an adventure with you. It's all my fault. Xiao Jingang just hugged Xiao King. The tyranny in his mind could no longer affect his mind. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't bring even a trace of warmth to the person in his arms. Xiao King bit her lips, and blood kept dripping from the corners of her mouth. The heavy rain fell at this moment. I don't know if it was tears or rain that flowed from the corners of Xiao King's eyes. Xiao King's lips moved slightly, but she couldn't make any notes anymore. Xiao Jingang could feel that the person in his arms was losing body temperature. He hugged Xiao King tightly, trying to save the person in his arms, but it was useless. In the end, Xiao Jingang put his ear close to Xiao King's mouth, trying to hear Xiao King's last words. I actually love the last trace of temperature on Xiao King's body disappeared, and the white hand held by Xiao Jingang slipped under the influence of the rain. Xiao Jingang wanted to hold her hand again, but he couldn't hold it anymore. The person is gone. Xiao King. Xiao Jingang held the person in his arms and cried to the sky. The rain turned into his tears and flowed down his face. He finally realized what he cared about the most and what he had done. He personally buried the person he cared about the most. Ah, little King Kong. Xiao King rushed over, picked up little King Kong's head and slapped little King Kong's face with one hand. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. You promised me to take me on an adventure. Okay, don't delete it. A muttering sound came from little King Kong's mouth. If you keep hitting me, I'll become a pig head. What? You're fine at all. Xiao King threw little King Kong's head to the ground, turned her head and pouted, saying, I have to worry about you for so long. What do you say? What should I do? I'm the victim. Okay. HMM. 3 times? Hearing the questioning with endless murderous intent, little King Kong quickly admitted his defeat. Wrong, I was wrong. Hit. With a flying kick, Dean Shi kicked little King Kong's face firmly. You are awesome, little brat. I worked so hard to raise you, and you kill me just like that. You will be fine once King comes out, right? Ah, it hurts. Don't be angry, old man. What was that just now? I thought you bastard, that was fake. If it was real, I would have died. There wouldn't even be a complete corpse left. Loki licked his paws, hiding his merits and fame. I didn't expect that Loki in that world would be so useful. Tony stroked his beard and said, it's incredible. I thought Loki in every world was the same, just making trouble. Diana Prince, and the Zeus in that world, is completely different from the Zeus in my impression. Diana Prince, there are still different Zeus in the heavens and the worlds. Loki Odinson, then I have to tell you that Zeus is probably an exception. The people in that universe are not the same, and the Zeus in our world is not a good person either. Tony Stark, yes, just like you in that world. Loki Odinson, I at %. Image continues. Just when King Kong escaped from the control of the creation staff and everyone thought that they could finally usher in a happy ending, a voice that sounded very much like King Kong after being possessed sounded, I hate God the most. I always feel that the writing is still not good enough and the writing style still needs to be improved. I think the writing style of this paragraph I wrote can be improved. Have you ever seen a book with such awesome writing style? I still need to write and learn more. Chapter 569, The Ultimate Brawl. Purple light permeated, and a guy with a black body and red lines engraved on it, like a clinker mannequin, appeared out of thin air. Fighting at the slightest disagreement. I'm very principled. Go with the flow. That's what little King Kong said. That line is the creation staff, and the creation staff absorbed little King Kong's hatred. MD, another Ultron. I'm like this. Heroes emerge in troubled times. The creation staff's body gradually grew larger, and its arms spread out, as if to embrace the world. But, it's more like it wants to destroy the world. Zaki? Peter looked at the Gigantamax creation staff and couldn't help but associate it with the demon. God. The creation staff directly broke through the atmosphere, took off on the spot, and came to the previous battlefield of the gods. That's what Lord La said. The controlled Anubis looked at the creation staff that appeared on the battlefield, and once again remembered what La said in his mind. Attack quickly. The current staff of creation is the devil that Titan mentioned before he left. It turns out that the so-called devil that brought the universe into darkness does not refer to a certain person, but the staff of creation itself. So that's how it is. The river god said seriously for a rare time. I didn't expect that the real problem turned out to be that pen spinner. What? Pen spinner? The river god said, it's the staff of creation. Pen spinner? Peter rummaged through the window nearby, took out a pen spinner from a cabinet, spun it around and asked, is this the pen spinner? Yes. The river god spoke and told everyone another different version of the story. Once upon a time, in the endless chaos, there was an egg. On it was a woodcutter named Pangu. He slept and slept for a long time, and then woke up. The woodcutter who woke up was unhappy with his surroundings, so he thought of doing something. He wanted to open the sky, but he failed, because his axe fell into the river. I wanted to pick up the axe and return it to him, but because I didn't have an axe, Pangu found a pen spinner, and poked the funny point. The funny point exploded, and Pangu spun the pen nearby, spinning and spinning, and the world was born. Do you understand? I understand. Kanata raised his hand and said, Brother River God, the funny point gave birth to that universe, but what about the world outside the funny point? That's other funny point universes. Then how were the funny points born? When something funny happens, the funny point is born. Then, Kanata's mouth was covered. Alright, let's watch the live broadcast. Don't ask anymore. If you keep asking, I'm really going to make a hole in my head. The video continues. God. The staff of creation made a hoarse voice, the descendants of that bastard Pangu. Boom. Countless explosions sounded, and the Horus fighter group, which was originally cannon fodder, became even worse than cannon fodder. The staff of creation looked huge and slow, but it was actually ridiculously fast. It moved in an instant, and appeared in the other corner of the battlefield. With one punch, the entire silver version of Mount Olympus exploded instantly. After the staff of creation blew up the silver version of Mount Olympus, it turned around and punched the ordinary version of Mount Olympus. Seeing this, the river god took out a golden axe and was about to attack, but a ray of light like a meteor hit the arm of the staff of creation fiercely. That axe, wouldn't it be the axe of creation left by Pangu at that time? The stream of light caused great damage to the creation staff, compared with the previous laser. Just a broken cane. You are rebelling against me. The stream of light returned and turned into a long stick. Odin's artifact, the dog beating stick. Evil creature, take my 10 slaps from the dragon. Hey, it's out of place. I have forgotten the setting of Hankigan in Odin. Just then, a BGM sounded. My lord, the times have changed. Bang. The sound of a gun rang out, and a bullet was fired from the M1917 American Smith & Wesson. The bullet turned into a blue dragon and bit towards the creation staff. What the hell? I'm Xiaofeng. The arm that was originally injured by the eternal dog beating stick was broken by this blow. As expected of Boss Cairo, so strong. The eyes of the creation staff, which was severely damaged by Xiaofeng, flashed red, and the BGM that was resounding throughout the battlefield suddenly stopped. Not good. Odin said with wide eyes. The creation staff has created a vacuum cover around Xiaofeng, and his BGM can't be transmitted. It's obviously outrageous. Why must we follow scientific settings at this time? Can't there be sound in a vacuum? A golden light flashed, and a golden stick instantly grew bigger and bigger in the eyes of the creation staff. Dang. A stick was swung on the forehead of the creation staff. Namo, Amitabha. A golden monkey in a cassock stepped on the tendon cloud and flashed to the other end of the stick. The stick fell again, but was firmly caught by the creation staff. God. I'm the Tei immortal of Hunio and Yiki, the great sage equaling heaven, the Buddha of the water curtain cave in the flower fruit mountain, Sun Wukong. The monkey's robes turned into a red cloth covering the sky, firmly covering the opponent's eyes, and took out a bag from his pocket. Collect. The bag had a huge attraction, and wanted to collect the creation staff into the bag, but it was torn apart by the creation staff. It's my stuff anyway. I don't feel sorry for it. The monkey dodged sideways, took out a cup of coffee, took a deep sip of the blue-green straw, and then spit the coffee in his mouth onto the battlefield. Wherever the coffee passed, no matter how serious the injuries were, even the dead, they were all resurrected. It's so bitter. The monkey stuck out his tongue, expressing his extreme disapproval of the coffee owner's taste. The creation staff slapped it down, but saw another stick instantly enlarged in his eyes. Six ear, you are still cruel, hitting people in the eyes. Shut up. We are obviously one. You are me, and I'm you. The creation staff, which was blinded by Six Ear, was in great pain, but before he could get angry, he saw another stick hitting his left eye. Arsehole. Master from another world. A girl wearing white scale armor, holding a Dinghaitian needle of slightly different color, with brown red hair, horns on her head, a tail behind her, and green flames burning in her eyes, appeared on the battlefield. Looking at the two monkeys, the girl secretly complained, "They are all monkeys, why does he look so scary? Zuchu. Hammer him." A huge flame bomb hit the face of the creation staff, blowing it into a grey face, and an armored giant holding a giant hammer fiercely hammered a hammer into the opponent's face. Zuchu receives the order. Yanwan cannon. At this moment, 6 silver wings cut through the sky. God-killing weapons arsenal activated. Target, creation staff. The Great Judgment activated. Target, creation staff. Start calculating the space medium. Import nearby star energy. Execute the heavenly blade Great Judgment. Begin execution. The golden-haired silver-armored angel stood proudly above the void. She raised the flaming sword with one hand and held it against the sky. The tip of the blade emitted a strong light, as dazzling as a sun. Inside the battlefield, the blue sky turned into a golden sea of fire, and endless flaming meteors fell one after another. The angel waved the sword, and the sky behind him rolled. The sea of fire expanded, the air burned violently, and the sky burned all the evil fire. Muda muda muda. In the smoke, the body of the creation staff appeared again. The previous great judgment did not cause even a little damage to it. I'm Thor, the thunder god. For the glory of the North God. Thunder and lightning, a dark cloud that was enough to cover the entire battlefield appeared on the battlefield at some point. Thor raised Thor's hammer and pressed the third button that had never been pressed. The Ultra Legend volume has been updated to the Tuga chapter, The Devil's Trilogy, The Devil's Judgment. Please support the child. The number of subscriptions is completely disproportionate. As the weird advertisement resounded throughout the battlefield, the most terrifying thunder in history fell. The creation staff used its only remaining left hand to fight against it, and actually defeated the thunder. The next second, the creation staff suddenly appeared behind Thor. God. Hehe. A red light fell, and the creation staff thought it could cut off Thor's dog head in one go, but it didn't expect that a green smoke would instantly gush out from Thor's body, covering the creation staff's face. The staff? Loki licked his paw elegantly and said, hehe. After being covered in mud, the staff suddenly stopped. Just when everyone thought they had won, they saw the staff's body twitching violently. I'm now Kale da. A dazzling red light burst out from the lines on the staff. Anyone illuminated by this light, whether human or object, instantly turned into the most basic particles in the world. Athena jumped off Mount Olympus at the last moment, leaped to the left shoulder of the creation staff, and stabbed it hard with a sword. A crack with a radius of several meters appeared, but for the creation staff at this moment, it was no different from a mosquito. Let's go together. Yamzayalo complete form. A red-manned white dragon appeared on the battlefield, and with a long roar, it tied up the creation staff tightly. The endless ghosts it carried turned into infinite chains, sealing the creation staff's ability to move. The Star Destroyer energy cannon is ready. A green-haired sturdy man controlled a bow-shaped Star Destroyer cannon and aimed at the creation staff. There was a purple squid starman beside him who was muttering, "It's really awesome. It's really awesome. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha." The creation staff laughed up to the sky and escaped from the encirclement in an instant. Not good. The white dragon head and the creation staff appeared again. A seemingly ordinary punch fell on the white dragon. The green flames in the white dragon's eyes burned. It tried its best to escape from this place but was powerless. It had a feeling that it could not escape this punch. Even if it hit at the end of the universe, this punch would follow it. The only way was to take this punch honestly. But if it took it, it would die. At this moment, the creation staff was knocked away. The white dragon turned into a girl, was stunned for 2 seconds, picked up the girl who came over wearing the clothes of the impermanence and burst into tears. Okay, I was scared to death. I thought I was really going to die just now. Okay, don't be afraid, my king. The projection room. That figure is Zyojin Gang. Yes, it's him. This kid finally woke up. But he is just an ordinary person. Where does this kind of power come from? Just now, Zyojin Gang, who was watching the gods fighting in the sky on the ground, had a face full of regret. What have I done? Zyojin Gang clenched his fists and trembled all over. Just when he was about to do something, someone grabbed his arm. Zyojin hugged Zyojin Gang's arm tightly, didn't say anything, just shook his head. I still have some divine power now, I can stop it. After hearing this, Zyojin still shook his head. Don't worry. Zyojin Gang hugged Zyojin and said, I will come back, I promise. Bink. Zyojin whimpered and said, Bink. Zyojin Gang sighed and left the battlefield with the power of the creation staff. Live broadcast room and the screening room. Wanda. Zyojin Gang knew that he might not be able to come back. Wanda. So, he didn't pinky promise with Zyojin. The video continues. Zyojin rushed forward, but only missed. Liar. Zyojin fell to the ground. Liar. In space, Zyojin Gang punched the creation staff and flew away for an unknown number of meters and instantly left the entire battlefield. Who is that? The person who was possessed by the creation staff before. Kesha looked at the creation staff that was punched away and couldn't even do anything to her great judgment and asked, You want to join them? The creation staff looked at the person in front of him and questioned. You were born from my evil thoughts. I know your weakness best. As long as I make good use of this, I can defeat you. The creator staff looked at little King Kong and the army behind him and laughed. Born from your evil thoughts? You are a singer, right? Huh. But Colorful gems appeared on the hand of the creator staff, and he snapped his fingers. I know exactly what you want. A VR helmet instantly appeared next to Little King Kong. The moment Little King Kong saw the helmet, he hugged it directly. Pa, here, that emoticon. Don't worry about the combat power, just have fun at this time. Chapter 570, Raz Resurrection, the final battle. Loki Odinson, I knew I couldn't count on this mortal. Wanda, shame on you. The creator's staff snapped his fingers again, and a pillow appeared next to Little Kong. A Zyra King's made costume pillow. He knows you better than you do. Athena couldn't help but roared. The weakness was used against you. Wanda, too embarrassing, join me. I'll give you everything you want. Dream on. Little Kong accepted the sugar coating and fired the cannonball back without hesitation. Why do you have to pay more? The creator's staff snapped his fingers again. I know everything you want. Impossible. Haha. The creator's staff slapped him directly. Shameless scum. Little Kong, Athena and Thor were slapped away and flew directly into the ruins of Mount Olympus. Little King Kong touched his head and said, it's still not as tricky as its tricks. The one who knows the staff best is Rab. Athena stood up and said, it would be great if he was still here. It doesn't matter. Little King Kong walked to Raz's body and said, I still have divine power. Let me use the remaining divine power to revive Rab. The scarlet divine power turned into a vortex and wrapped around Raz's body. The holy light lit up and the BGM sounded. Puff. An egg squeezed out of Raz's lower body. Why did you lay a ball? It's an egg. This egg is the reincarnation of Rab. A rooster lays an egg. What's the use of an egg? Do we have to wait for it to hatch? The mortal was still arguing with the goddess, and the dog had already started to act. Little King Kong stared at Thor with wide eyes and asked, are you really going to hatch? Take a deep breath. Wake up. Athena said, you are just a dog. Faced with everyone's doubts, Thor decided to prove himself with actual actions and achievements. Thor raised his hammer and swung it on Raz's egg. WandaVision World. Vision looked at Thor on the screen with a strange face. What's wrong, little Huan? According to my database, when I was born, I was also electrocuted from the biological cabin by Thor's hammer. Vision looked at the screen and said, basically the same as the current Rab. The hammer electrocuted the egg, and in the smoke, a figure with golden light on his forehead appeared. Vision, yes, according to the subsequent monitoring, it is basically the same. In the passionate music, Ra was reborn. It's just a little bit small. Looking at the four people with dull faces, as well as Zeus who came over at some point, Noah who was on the video, and Han Kigang, Lars' first words and actions were to flutter his wings and fly in front of Zeus, shouting, Zeus, be careful. This topic has been over for a long time. After a while. So, where are we now? Lara asked, holding a script. In short, we need to know how to defeat the creation staff. Zhao Jingang pointed at the battlefield and said, we need to stop the staff. The only way now is to find something that can seal it. It must be a dimensional seal. Dimension? Noah said, my mountain and river map can work, but it's broken. No, the mountain and river map won't work either. It's also something from this universe, and it may not work on the creation staff. The only thing that can seal the creation staff is the creation staff punched Liu away and blocked Liang Bing's demon claws. At this moment, it felt something was wrong. Turning around, a spaceship flew away from the ruins of Mount Olympus. Although he didn't know what the other party was going to do, the creation staff decided to catch up. Because he felt the breath of Ra in the spaceship. The guy who has been studying himself for 1,000 years. It's not a good thing to let it escape. It didn't care about its energy being mobilized before, but it didn't expect that they would resurrect it. You know, it took a lot of effort to kill it, but it didn't expect that it would be resurrected. The creation staff caught up with it. Facing the pursuit of the creation staff, Little King Kong grabbed the car door and said, let me stop him. A moment later, I almost forgot. Little King Kong closed the car door and said, I used up all my divine power when I resurrected it before. The speeding car turned into the pyramid, and the creation staff directly broke the ultimate fortress that Ra had built for many years. Athena, Thor, Loki and Zeus, who were upgraded to the God King Godhead, joined forces to stop the creation staff's actions, but in front of the creation staff, they were like a few large mosquitoes and flies, and were useless except for annoying people. Faced with the interference of Athena, Thor and others, the creation staff remained unmoved. Only Loki's illusion could have a certain impact on the creation staff. Screening room barrage, Loki Odinson. See, this is the power of the great trickster Loki. Wanda, are you a cat? Loki Odinson, I'm a noble Asgardian. Wanda, then why do you admit that the cat is Loki? Loki Odinson, haha, you don't understand this, mortal. I'm the great trickster god. My power radiates the multiverse. Everything Loki is. Chanting begins. Image continues. The creation staff released red light from its eyes, but the river god easily dodged it. The red light was only suitable for sweeping the exhaust of the flying car. No, this is a new energy vehicle, so the creation staff can't even sweep the exhaust of the car. The river god drove the flying car to the place he wanted to go, but at this moment, the flying car suddenly ran out of energy. Why is there no oil? I've heard that oil prices have risen sharply recently. But isn't this a new energy source? Yes. New petroleum energy is referred to as new energy. Isn't this still oil? Doesn't this car have any hidden energy source? I remember that this car seems to be rechargeable. Hearing this, Thor flew directly to the hood of the car, and the power of Thor's hammer condensed, once again acting as a Thor's hammer power bank. With the help of Thor, the spaceship finally rushed into the Obelisk Research Institute. At the same time, the staff of creation followed closely. The staff of creation punched down, and the energy protection net of the entire Obelisk Research Institute was broken on the spot. The staff of creation punched the Obelisk Research Institute in two. The entire pyramid was instantly without power. MD, I haven't finished writing it yet. I haven't finished the entire evening study. I'll write it in the dormitory later. My computer is even on my pillow when I write here. Chapter 571. The author doesn't know what to name it. Just don't scold me. Not good. Athena saw the collapsed obelisk and immediately rushed to help, but the creation staff swept a red light and directly knocked Athena down. Woof. Idiot. Let me show you my true power. Drops of black liquid appeared out of thin air and condensed into shape under the dangerous red light. The creation staff relied on its own power to condense into a clone. Die painfully in despair and wailing. The creation staff looked at Athena and Thor, who were surrounded by the clones, and laughed. Your helpers can't come. They are already exhausted and in danger. Why must this world be destroyed? Why? The creation staff said, that was a long time ago. I was still a pen in Panga's hand. Do you think I will tell a long and boring story and give you a chance to kill me? Don't be silly. The creation staff stretched out his hand and pointed, and a ray of light carrying the power of destruction split the pyramid into two. I just want to destroy this world. Reason? No reason. No, my idea is my reason. It's too old-fashioned to whitewash villains. Ha 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 ha. Impossible. I will definitely stop you. Who? Before the creator staff could react, he saw a stupid robot punching him in a blue light. What is that? The creator staff slapped the robot away, and then shot a red light to make up for it, but at this moment, a tiny thing flew over and knocked the creator staff to the ground. What the hell? The creator staff couldn't believe that something could knock him down with just one hit. It used its divine power to pick it up and took a closer look. Frying pan? You bastard. You actually broke the energy center of the pyramid. I still need to do beauty treatments. Looking at the creator staff, a she-wolf wearing a crown and a red robe, walking upright, holding a frying pan, gritting her teeth, and looking at her. Everything. The red light swept past, and it was about to hit the other party. There was a bang in the sky, and then with a thunder flash, or thunder detonated the red light in the middle. Grey Wolf, why did you come just now? Sorry, my wife. Grey Wolf, wearing a melon seed hat and with a scar on his face, drove a flying car over. Hurry up and get on the Wolf Warrior legend. Hey, if you want to fight, you have to find an opponent of similar size. A behemoth with a tiger head and body, deer horns and deer hooves, ape hands and tail, crane wings and bear paws appeared in front of the creation staff, bullying ordinary people. What's the point of it? On the other side of the battlefield, Facing the siege of the Infinite Staff clones, Athena and Thor seemed particularly powerless. There are too many. Athena panted. Although the main body of the creation staff was dragged by someone, it was still very troublesome on this side. Woof. Be careful. Behind Athena, a clone of the god staff released an energy cannon, and the red energy torrent was about to sweep Athena. At this moment, a young man wearing a yellow and black training suit and glasses rushed towards the clone of the creation staff with a nunchaku with only a handle and a golden chain left. His dark pink hair fluttered, and the young man said lightly, "I will kill all enemies and I will not stop." The sound of weapons colliding sounded, and a golden light flashed, and the clone of the creation staff behind Athena broke with a sound. Golden skyline. Countless fragments surrounded a pair of scissors, which rotated and turned into a disc-shaped sharp blade. The sharp blade swept across, and the clone of the god staff broke into pieces like a dead branch or rotten wood. Hi, magnesium. A young man with 3 strands of hair and dark circles under his eyes came to Athena and asked, "Do you want a haircut? I'm the chief hairdresser of Chicken Island. Are you the only hairdresser on Chicken Island? There's another one across the street," the young man said, spinning his scissors, "but my skills are the best, don't you think, Xiaofi?" Chirp, chirp. Only then did Athena notice that the young man was actually picked up by a blue feathered chicken with 1 claw and flew in the air. "How is it?" The young man was still trying to sell himself. "Do you want to apply for a membership card? Top up 50 and get 5,000 for free. It's a good deal. Woolioki." Just then, a giant swallow flew over, and a girl in a cyan cheongsam called out the young man's name in a cold voice. "Miss, if you want a haircut, remember to come to Chicken Island to find me. My girlfriend called me to stop chatting." The cyan-clad girl blushed, but did not refute. "I've decided it directly." Whoever agrees or disagrees, whoever agrees. 2 swords join forces. Long rainbow pierces the sun. Long rainbow sword and ice soul sword are in the hands of Hong Maolantu. The 2 swords join forces and turn into a rainbow light, piercing the body of the creation staff. Purple hair comes from the east. The purple cloud sword disappears, and only a purple gas condenses, like a storm, sweeping towards the left leg of the creation staff. Heavy rain. Dao Dao shouts loudly, and both palms are released at the same time. The swords are unsheathed, and the sword shadows are looming. Countless swords are ejected in all directions with Dao Dao as the center of the circle, but the final target is the right arm of the creation staff. Daben. Shio holds the King Wang sword and shouts, "Let's go together." Okay. The thunder sword bursts out with endless power in Daben's hand. Endless thunder clouds gather, and the lightning is dazzling. It is comparable to the thunder clouds caused by Thor's final blow with the blessing of the power of advertising. King Lang subdues the devil. The sky is spinning. 7 knights holding 7 magic swords joined the battlefield. An armed helicopter flew over, and a weirdo in a red tights hung on the rope ladder of the plane, holding a submachine gun, and shooting at the creation staff. Go, Shuk. After this battle, I will treat you, and beat her to chicken rolls. Shanjing Beast. Divine Weapon Shanjing. The boy in blue armor and his partner came to the battlefield, and at this time, the not-so-young creation staff finally realized one thing it seemed, that he had poked a hornet's nest, that he shouldn't have poked. But things have come to this point, and there is no choice, but to continue fighting. Exploding fire dragon bomb. A hideous mecha appeared, and from the big mouth on the chest of the mecha, a bomb with endless lava power fell on the creation staff, causing the creation staff to wail in pain. Get out of here. The creation staff kicked the demon tyrant king away, but at this moment, 8 voices sounded at the same time. I laugh at the sky with my sword, and I will leave my loyalty to Kunlun. Who is it again? The creation staff, which originally had only the desire for destruction in its heart, finally learned the first emotion other than destruction and tyranny at this moment. Regret. Very regretful. MD. What kind of monsters and ghosts are hidden in this broken place? A cool mecha appeared, holding the 7-star sword, and slashed at the creation staff with 1 sword. What? We are Fruity Robo. Energy slash. The 7-star sword fell, and the demon tyrant king grabbed one of the legs of the creation staff tightly. The claws of the fire dragon king behind him acted as a cornerstone to stabilize the body. The 5 Spirit Kings saw this, exchanged a glance with the God of Happiness, and pulled the left and right arms of the creation staff together. Idiot. Don't treat me like a third-rate villain. The creation staff actually grew 2 more arms from its chest, and the newly appeared hands tightly grasped the 7-star sword of the fruit treasure god of war. It's broken. The energy of the Yuan-Ki slash is not enough. The creation staff just breathed a sigh of relief and felt a terrifying force behind him. Supreme Wave Fist. Ah. The creation staff trembled and turned his head 180 degrees and saw the 3rd fruit mecha that attacked from behind. The first of the 3 fruit mechas, the strongest fruit mecha, Guo Yuan Shianzhen, Illusionary Sky Art, Fire Cloud Art, Cold Shadow Art, Thunder Art, Moon Death Tribulation, Blood Seal Tribulation, Sparkling Art. The 7 Super Beast Warriors released their skills at the same time, once again causing heavy damage to the creation staff. The creation staff slowly fell down, and the other staff clones also stopped. Win. Haha. The voice of the creation staff came out in the smoke and dust. You are just a group of mortals. How dare you fight with me? Go. The clones of the creation staff began to wriggle and deform one after another, and the next second, a sword slashed at the Demon Tyrant King. Get out of the way. The Demon Tyrant King, who was unable to dodge, had 2 fire dragon claws cut off by the sword, and the person who attacked was Turtle Taegang. You again. Lu Xiaoguo pointed at Turtle Grandpa and said, Turtle Grandpa. No. Xiaoguoding frowned and said, this Turtle Grandpa should just be a transformation of the creation wand, without the consciousness of the original body. How do you know? Because the original Turtle Grandpa would never accept the name of Turtle Grandpa. Xiaoguoding, quickly take out the bomb that can blow off Turtle Grandpa's knife. I didn't know there was such a thing. I didn't bring it. Ah. The 7 swords stood side by side, facing the enemy that appeared in front of them. Black Heart Tiger. The black wind passed by, and the 7 rainbow cats suddenly lost their balance. The Black Heart Tiger transformed by the creation wand was even stronger than the previous Black Heart Tiger. A bold monster dragon with purple dragon scales pounced on the 5 Spirit Kings, while another dark-colored robot wrestled with the God of Happiness. Face the enemy who once brought you endless fear. With the roar of the creation staff, all the clones became opponents that everyone had faced before. Finally, I can settle my personal grudges properly. The creation staff turned his head to look at the obelisk and said to the little King Kong in the obelisk, without me, you are just a mortal. Now, die. The creation staff stepped down, but was stopped by a gloved hand. Grow bigger. The huge glove pushed hard, and the creation staff fell on its back. A terrifying aura burst out from the little King Kong, and his hair not only grew longer, but also emitted a golden glow. I'm going to knock you down, if I say I will. The little King Kong wearing gloves flew in the air, and looked at the staff of creation and said, I'm very principled. Really? The staff of creation slowly stood up, and let out a laugh that made the little King Kong shudder. But, there's no way I'll be knocked down. You're just being stubborn. Come on, knock me down. The staff of creation was not panicked. He just stood there looking at the little King Kong and made a provocative gesture. Let me see you. Before the staff of creation could finish his words, the little King Kong punched him in the face. The staff of creation was forced to hold back the rest of his words by this punch. Come on, continue. The creator staff laughed loudly, and suddenly, he asked, do you believe in love? Are you crazy? There is no such thing as bullshit love in this world. I lost love because I couldn't find a next partner. The creator staff said with a sly smile. What's the point of you and I fighting to the death? You died to save the world. It's great and touching. But how many people in this world do you think can remember you? How many people can shed tears for you? I didn't beat you down to be remembered by the world. Little King Kong pressed the blue button, and water surged on the surface of the creator staff, and finally turned into an extremely solid layer of ice that froze the creator staff in the ice. The creator staff did not resist, he just continued, you killed me and sacrificed yourself. You are just a joke in the mouths of other stupid mortals. Look, your so-called friends in the sky, do you think they will shed a few tears for you? They are just using you. When you are used up, they will throw you on the side of the road and let you die in endless pain. Is it worth it? I don't care. Oh. Don't care? The creator staff accepted Zyojingang's punch after punch without any resistance. He continued, your childhood sweetheart, Zyojing, such a lovely girl, you just see yourself letting her marry other men for that bullshit saving the world, all live alone for the rest of your life. Say it. Why don't you say anything? Come on, give up, join me. The creator staff said, what a bullshit, justice defeats evil, it's an old routine that has been outdated for many years. The background color of this world is black, and the gods are high above. They control the wealth and eternal life. And you, as a mortal, can only be controlled by them. You are a bug. A toy. Shut your mouth. Little King Kong gritted his teeth and said, how could my resentment be such a disgusting thing? Hehe. The creation staff laughed. I have said it before, your resentment is just a trigger. You are a parasite. You can give birth to me. However, since you awakened me, come on, Little King Kong, I will give you a chance. The creation staff said, come, merge with me, let us destroy this world, and when the next universe is opened up, you will be the supreme ruler of that universe. You can live forever with the one you love. You can create a better world, a world controlled by you. How about it, Little King Kong? This temptation is even too great. Strange said, in the other world, I can even destroy the time node for Christine and sacrifice the entire world. And Little King Kong was originally just an ordinary person. Can he really resist this temptation? Not just a temptation. Constantine said, there is also the temptation of owning a world of your own. This temptation is too great. The staff of creation can be said to have grasped the most basic desires of Little King Kong or all ordinary people. Life and wealth. Eternal life, plus wealth of the entire universe. Who would not be tempted? Wind-facing / turtle grandpa, who had been using normal attacks, used the wind-facing / and severely injured the weakest, injured, demon tyrant king. Oh my god. Why is it always us every time? The Sly Man complained, we are the villains, so do we have to be beaten by bigger villains? Shut up. Dong Fanky Obey said, show your momentum. After you finish this move. Holiday. Promotion. Pay raise. All. Turtle Grandpa suddenly knows how to use a skill. Little Fruiting said, look at the black smoke on him. It's so thick that we can hardly see where he is. Damn it. Pleasant Goat swerved to avoid the evil dragon's petrifying light. He said to the communication channel, everyone be careful. This evil dragon has almost integrated the abilities of all the villains we have encountered before. Nonsense. Grey Wolf retorted, he didn't copy my ability to invent and create. Are you sure? Grey Wolf turned his head and saw that the original evil dragon was now covered with a layer of mecha body, which was a direct upgrade. No way. Wait. Why are there piranhas? Big Bear helped Big Bear out of the spaceship and asked, Big Bear, are you okay? Big Bear, I was shot down by that guy. I'm ashamed of you, don't say such stupid things. Big Bear was relieved to see that Big Bear was okay. Big Bear, I said that you have always been your brother's pride. Although your story is very touching. Bold Kyang said with a multifunctional guide flag, but look around. Dozens of bold werewolves surrounded the two men and the bear. Their bodies were flowing with blood like magma, and most of their bodies still had traces of technological transformation. The war was about to break out, but at this moment, Big Bear suddenly laughed. Puff. Xiang said to Xiang, look, those guys are bald. Isn't it because Guang Tao Kyang used to be a villain? Hey. Guang Tao Kyang's old face turned red, and the more he looked, the more he felt that this bold werewolf was implying himself. But why do they still have the symbol of Tuanzi on them? Tuanzi? Where? The way they look now is almost exactly the same as when Tuanzi is angry. No, the wolf pack is attacking. Xiang Da punched a werewolf away and turned his head and said, Guang Tao Kyang, Xiang is in your hands. You go first. I'll hold here. Xiang Da. Miss Mary, you go first. The blood-stained Wu Liuqi took the handle of the magic knife Kanran, barely manipulated Kanran to turn into a shield to block the claws of the blood demon. Miho 13 did not speak, but held the double blades to face the most terrible enemy in history. Key betrayed the organization. According to the Shadow Assassin's order, kill. Wu Ling Wang and the God of Happiness were directly beaten away. It was not the Dragon King and the Great Demon God of Pain who attacked, but the Devil. Yes, there is no name, just called Devil. Pigman, the other versions of you are too weak. The red and black ghost energy condensed, forming a terrifying skeleton, like a fierce ghost attacking the 7 people. 10,000 evils. Did you see that, Little King Kong? The creation staff said, you have already lost. Compared to me, you don't have even the slightest chance of winning. Come on, merge with me, and I will grant you everything you want. No. Why? The creation staff broke through the defense. What on earth are you hesitating about? The conditions I give are not good enough. Or do you want more money? Or do you still believe that the so-called justice will surely defeat evil? Don't be silly. That's all for kids. The creation staff roared. This world is dark. The so-called glory of humanity is just a joke. The dazzling sunlight will eventually be swallowed up by darkness. Just like them. With a point of the creation staff, everyone on the battlefield was suppressed and fell into a disadvantage. You're such a grown-up. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you still believe in them? Ridiculous? Little King Kong asked back. What's so ridiculous? Little King Kong, you're an adult, and as an adult, you should face the reality. Money and power, these are the most important. As long as you can get these, you can throw away everything, including conscience. Conscience? How much is conscience worth? And don't you think it's ridiculous that you discuss conscience with me? Yeah, I don't have much of a conscience, but there are many people in this world who have a conscience and are kind. Bullshit. What you said is bullshit. It's nonsense. The glove grew bigger again, and with one punch, it knocked the staff of creation back to the ground, and the staff of creation was directly beaten back to its original size. What you said are all the bullshit said by those who claim to be mature. They think they have seen the world clearly, but in fact they just kneel down in front of you, and they still think that everyone has to kneel down in front of you, just because they claim to be mature. What you said makes sense on the surface, but it's bullshit. Xiao Jingang punched the creation staff in the face again and again. I'm not a good person, but there are many good people in this world. Can't you see? This endless darkness. Even if there is light in it, it will be swallowed up by the endless darkness. This is the human heart. Ha, you admit it. Xiao Jingang said, although you tried your best to cover it up, you also said in your words that there is light in this world. Yes, where there is light, there will be shadows. When you face the darkness, the light will be left behind you. When you face the light, the darkness will naturally be left behind. Okay, it's time to end it all. Big open heaven sword. A sword light lit up, and the demon was chopped away fiercely. My other time. A round figure, wearing a dragon robe, and most importantly, a pig nose on his face, landed in front of the 5 Spirit King, and the God of Happiness. Don't give up. Looking at the man in front of them, the 5 Spirit King, and the God of Happiness once again surged with infinite power. Big brother. Yeah. The first generation pigman nodded and said, let's go together. 5 Spirit Seal. Flame Lightning 5 Element Chop. Pigman. Devil, we meet again. We will not die. We were born from human malice. As long as there is malice in this world, we will continue to be reborn, just like those places that have been governed by you. They are clean for a while, but as time goes by, pollution will reappear. Then govern it again, once, and again. If one side doesn't work, try both sides. If both sides don't work, try 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 100, 1000, and 10,000 times. As long as you don't give up, you will definitely succeed one day. I'll wait and see. Super Beast Armor. Super Beast God 7 combinations. Ghost King. Let's make a break. In the endless black and red ghost energy, the Ghost King looked at the 7 combined Super Beast gods and said, this time, I will get rid of you completely. No, the Super Beast warriors will never end. Shiny and Sword. Turtle Man. Enough. Turtle Taegang / Guo and Xianzhen with his sword, and roared at Guo Baoz and Shen. My name is Turtle Taegang. Supreme Wave Punch. Goun Giants and directly accumulated power while flying backwards, and then hit the supreme wave punch named Turtle Taegong's double swords, and at this moment, Pineapple Blowing Snow took out a Yellow Lotus from his arms. Yellow Lotus, please give us strength. Fruits and Shen Golden Edition. 7 colors energy slash. The evil dragon roared and swept in all directions. Pleasant Goat jumped from the big guy into the thunder and asked, Grey Wolf, how long have we known each other? More than 5,000 episodes. Yes, more than 5,000 episodes. Let's go together. I've been waiting for you to say that. Grey Wolf jumped up from the wolf warrior legend. His whole body was clean, and he shouted, Thunder, Big Ham. Blackheart Tiger's Black Tiger Hearted Claw was about to hit Rainbow Cat, and at this critical moment, a bamboo sword appeared and knocked Blackheart Tiger's Tiger Claw away farther. White Cat. Blackheart Tiger saw the figure that looked like a banished immortal and couldn't help trembling all over. It's useless even if you're alive. I'll kill you again today. Rainbow Cat. 7 swords combined. Yes, father. The 7 people looked at each other, and the tips of the 7 long swords were against each other. Chang Hung Sword. Bing Po Sword. Purple Cloud Sword. Yu He Sword. Benlui Sword. King Guang Sword. Whirlwind Sword. The creator's staff looked at the battlefield, where the situation had changed, and roared angrily, No. This is impossible. Why? Why is it such a disgusting plot again? Obviously, only the dark and deep ones are the truly excellent plots. This kind of childish cartoon is only worthy of children. Childish? Little King Kong said to the creator's staff, You said before that you are not my evil thoughts, and I didn't believe it. But now I believe it. Even if it is my evil thoughts, it can never be such a disgusting thing. Disgusting? The creator's staff shouted angrily, What do you know? This is the truth. This is the truth of the world. The so-called beauty is just a trick of human beings deceiving themselves. In the face of cruel reality, vows and promises are all bullshit. I won't waste time talking to you. Little King Kong said, I'll use this blow to get rid of you. Get rid of me? The creator staff stood up and said, Fool, I'm the creator staff. I was not born in this world. Even if I'm malicious, you can't destroy me. Who said I want to destroy you? Oh, so you still plan to cooperate with me? Are you crazy? In the Obelisk Research Institute, Ra brought Athena and Thor to a place. Ordinary things can't solve you, but this can. Ra pressed it down. Start. Brain hole. Ding. Authentication failed. It's broken. Ra's expression changed drastically, and he said, My hands haven't developed yet. Are your hands still the product of puberty? Woof woof woof. At this time, the Paw Patrol made a great contribution. Thor raised Thor's hammer, gathered the last bit of electricity, and opened the electronic door directly. The creator staff finally realized what the little King Kong was going to do. You are such a scoundrel. Get out of here. Impossible. Why? Why did you win? Because this is our precious childhood memory. Little King Kong pressed the button. Fly high. A huge fist hit the creation staff hard and flew directly into the brain hole without causing any waves. Little King Kong landed in front of the brain hole, looked at his friends and said, We won. Chapter 572, Victory. The big windmill is turning and twisting. The scenery here is so beautiful. The villain clones who lost the support of the creation staff were powerless and could only face the ending they should have faced. Damn it. Why is it like this again? Dr. Wei Wei, who was controlling the Beast King, looked at the 5 dragon riders that had merged again and roared unwillingly. Drive Wei Wei, don't you understand? Dr. Lala used Ozma superpowers to convey his voice to Dr. Wei Wei. Evil can't defeat justice. Justice? Evil? How ridiculous. Dr. Wei Wei looked at the 5 dragon riders who were about to be born and gave up struggling. He said to Dr. Lala, You won, but it's useless. As long as the malice between people continues, as long as the darkness in his heart continues, we will come back again and again. Then we will defeat you again and again. The voice of the blue cat came from the 5 dragon riders. Zyroshan is born. In the golden light, Zyroshan turned into the head and claws of the 5 dragon riders. Ling Feng appears. On the original Tyrannosaurus Rex's head, a pair of azure triceratops horns appeared. Jiddy appears. I really can't find out where the material about Jiddy is on the 5 dragon riders. Jingayan spreads its wings. Golden wings spread out behind the 5 dragon riders, and the purple crystal cloud merged successfully. Seeley, charge. Finally, it was Seeley who turned into the torso of the 5 dragon riders. We will return eventually. The golden halo collided with the dark clouds of the Beast King, and finally, the light dispelled the darkness. I want to protect everyone too. Xianga once again stepped into the previous spaceship. Under the control of the proto-nucleus, a huge stone bear appeared. The stone bear was burning with blue flames, and on its forehead, there was a team of deer horns flashing the light above the snow-capped mountains. You don't really think that anyone will like you, do you? The bald wolf who had merged with Skyfire spoke up. You are just something that children will watch. When they grow up, they will only feel ashamed of watching these meaningless things when they were young. It was like this with Pleasant Goat and Big Wolf in the past, and it is the same with you now. You are talking nonsense. There was tenacity and courage in Xianga's honest voice. We did do some bad things in the past, but now we have changed. Instead, it is you who have been looking at us with tinted glasses. What tinted glasses? This is the reason of adults. A treacherous voice came from the giant robot. Don't be silly, Xianga. Those children will grow up eventually. They will become adults, and then step into our camp to attack you together. Do you know why? Because this is the human heart. You are talking nonsense. A strong voice came, followed by Crazy Thunder King Khan Fist. Crazy Ape landed a punch on Skyfire's knee, knocking Skyfire staggeringly. I was wondering why I couldn't find you. So you've come here, Blue Poison Beast. Tyrannosaurus flew in the sky, looking at the Skyfire below. They finally found their target. Dragon Emperor, different dimension. Vanguard, attack together. Okay. Flowing shadow lightning flash. Let's go to Libation. Yeah. Tation meteorite fall. We are the only one missing. Tornado. I've been waiting for you. Cheyenne Dragon Dance. Oh. The blue poison beast sitting in the Skyfire cockpit laughed and said, I didn't expect everyone to be here. Thunderbolt, Vanguard, Libation, Wild Ape, Tyrannosaurus. Suddenly, the blue poison beast's face changed drastically. Swish. The metal stabbed into the body, and the blue poison beast was like a fish stabbed by a harpoon. It struggled but to no avail. War is a dirty game. The attacker whispered in the ear of the blue poison beast, and I'm the dirtiest player. The attacker waved his arm, and the blue poison beast, who had escaped the finale, finally died under the claws of the Tiger King. Hey, Tiger King, you're making it very difficult for me, and LUO to do this. Jing Jing's voice was transmitted to the Tiger King's ears through the channel. What do you have to do with me? At this moment, Cheyenne Ho activated the Rampage program. The Tiger King jumped out and landed on Jaya, the Earth Star God, and quickly left the battlefield. Finally, it's my turn to be a superhero. Xianga shook his arm and punched the rampaging Cheyenne Ho. Look at me. A blazing iron fist. Cheyenne Ho fell down in response. Seeing this, Xianga quickly turned around and posed. A true hero never looks back at the explosion. I really don't understand. Aren't you embarrassed? The body of the shapeshifter twisted, and he now almost copied the power of most of the villains. He roared and questioned Happy Superman. Don't you really feel disgusted when facing that bear? A true hero never looks back at the explosion. Disgusting, disgusting. You are wrong, Shapeshifter. The 5 supermen answered the Shapeshifter's question. Cartoons are for children to watch. Only cartoons that children like and can make children happy can be called good cartoons. Maybe you feel embarrassed, but children like it. That's enough. One by one, the villains fell. The protagonists won one after another, and the whole story ushered in the ending they deserved. Little King Kong and his companions stood on the high platform. The battle in the pyramid finally ended, and the troubles left by the creation staff were also solved one by one. It seems that the pyramid needs to be repaired. La looked at his hometown being beaten into this state, and it was so tiring. Okay, Smelu. The river god said to La, the most important thing is that we are all here, right? That's all. Little King Kong also breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at his hair and said, I just don't know if Zyra King likes my new look. Everyone. Little King Kong shouted to everyone in the pyramid. We win. Great. Woohoo. Tutu is very happy. Tutu, Dad, Mom, and Grandpa Niu and Brother Jiang Kang are all very happy. Little Head Dad, we won. Yes, Big Head. This is a cross-border linkage. Xiang Da said to Palihuo on the side. It doesn't matter whether it crosses the border or not. Palihuo said, as long as the peace of this world is threatened, we will definitely take action again to protect this world. Although I don't understand it, the final decisive battle is still very cool. Everyone in the screening room was also preparing to take a break, but at this moment, a strange phenomenon appeared on the screen. Just like that, with the efforts of Little King Kong and his group, the universe once again restored peace. Get out of my way. A voice interrupted the narration in the screening room. In the brain hole, a pair of three-dimensional big hands stretched out. Who do you think I am? A third-rate villain? Chapter 573, Zyojin Gang, go and do what your heart really wants to do. What? That hand is the wand of creation? No way rationally, shouldn't this be the end? The screening room was also confused. This guy didn't play by the rules. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, look at the wand of creation's hand, it has been upgraded. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, the wand of creation has upgraded its dimension to 3 dimensions. Bruce Wayne, or 3-dimensional life existing in a 2-dimensional world. Isn't this invincible? Exclamation mark. Diana Prince, invincible? Bruce Wayne, 3-dimensional life is to 2-dimensional life just like 4-dimensional life is to us. Imagine, when an opponent can travel through time at will, and even control your time at will, how can you defeat him? Bruce Wayne, let me put it more simply. Bruce Wayne, as a character in a book, you want to kill your author like this? Logan, a character in a book, killing the author? Exclamation mark. This is impossible. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, there is a way to pull the author into the book, or to travel to the author's world outside the book, but the creation rod has not reached that level, but for Xiao Kong and the others, it is already invincible to a certain extent. The image continues. I have said it before, my origin is beyond your imagination. The big hand slowly stretched out, and everyone felt that they could not move at all. Foolish guys, I will show you the essence of this world now. The big hand slowly pulled Rab, Thor and Athena into the brain hole. Looking at the 3 gods swallowed by the brain hole, Xiao Kong hesitated. Yes, the creation rod really knows him. He doesn't want to die. He likes Xiao King. He wants to be with Xiao King forever and ever. The creation rod sank into the brain hole, and he just needs to close the brain hole. Just close it, it's done. The switch is next to it. Xiao Gang stretched out his hand tremblingly, but he couldn't do it. He knelt on the ground, shaking uncontrollably. Not only sweat, but also tears fell from his cheeks, and ripped onto the ground. As long as I close my mind, I can go. I can go on an adventure in the universe with Xiao King. No one will say anything to me. I'm a hero now. The story of heroes has come to an end. As long as I close my mind, everything is over. Do it, Xiao Gang, do it. Xiao Gang stretched out his gloved hand and pushed it forward with force. Just press it, and you can close your mind, become a hero, and live with Xiao King forever. But why? This hand is resisting. No, he is resisting himself. At this moment, Xiao Gang felt that the world was particularly empty. He subconsciously walked to the hole that was knocked out by the creation wand and looked outside. Everyone was there. Everyone was looking at him, as if waiting for Xiao Gang to make a decision. Go, Little King Kong, do what your heart really wants to do. In the brain hole, the creation staff laughed and said, soon, the brain hole will be closed by Little King Kong. You gods will collapse, and I after recognizing the true nature of this world, and I will return eventually. Little King Kong won't do that. Won't. I know him too well. He's just an ordinary person. How could an ordinary person? The words of the creation staff stopped abruptly. It looked at Little King Kong in disbelief, looking at the guy who rushed directly into the brain hole. You lunatic. Don't you know that your imagination is almost impossible to reverse? The creation staff collapsed first, and he roared. You are just an ordinary person. Why are you pretending to be the Virgin Mary? Why the hell did you come in? I'm an ordinary person. So I also have things that ordinary people have. Little King Kong looked at the fist in the hand of the creation staff and the dazzling golden light emanating from his body. Ordinary people's evil thoughts. Ordinary people's greed. So I also have ordinary people's kindness and love. You guy, look at me punching you into two small pancakes. Little King Kong's strongest punch was thrown, but it had no effect. The creation staff didn't even block it. He said, haha, you idiot. Let's die together. What? Little King Kong looked at his body suddenly, and at this moment, the color on his body had disappeared. Is this your move? Mine. The creation staff said in a distorted voice. I don't have that much power. Look around. This is the origin of your world. Welcome to watch the mystery of the origin of the universe, Paperman. The color of the creation staff was gradually stripped away, but it did not become the same as the little King Kong, but became a very strange look. So three-dimensional. The river god took out a pair of 3D glasses from behind and put them on his face. Athena and others followed suit. Suddenly, a completely 3D creation staff appeared in front of everyone. In the screening room, everyone also had a pair of 3D glasses, even the audience in the live broadcast room, and they were made to the most suitable size according to the face size of different audiences. A certain Earth, deep in the Pacific Ocean, Godzilla, who was diving, looked at the glasses in front of him and fell into deep thought. How did this thing suddenly appear in front of him? Screening room. It's true. Peter kept taking off and putting on his 3D glasses and soon confirmed that the creation wand on the screen was really a three-dimensional life. Then Mr. River God and his world. Captain America. I recognized it. I recognized what the background of Zio Kong is thinking about now. Captain America. That's a storyboard of a comic. Logan. What? Captain America. My childhood wish was actually to be a cartoonist. Although I didn't succeed, I still learned some knowledge about comics in my spare time. Bruce Wayne, River God and his people are two-dimensional life. So will their world be a comic or animation? The Kingdom of Light. The Ultra brothers never thought that the final answer might be like this. Two-dimensional life exists. An old voice sounded, and King Ao came from the King planet at some point, holding a cup of tea in his hand. In the distant Mirror Kingdom, the residents there are two-dimensional life. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 574, Zaya King's Wish. The video continues. The creator looked at the group of paper people in front of him and suddenly asked, do you know why I call you two-dimensional beings paper people? Because you have no thickness at all. Janitor approached the river god and looked around, but he didn't find any changes in the river god. The so-called lack of thickness did not exist at all. Is this because of the rationalization function of the screening room? The creator grabbed Zhao Jingang's hand and crumpled Zhao Jingang into a ball of paper, as if he was crumpling a ball of waste paper, and then threw it hard. 2D is out of date. Just like those boring, childish and ridiculous animations, they should be swept into the trash. You are still stubborn. Zhao Jingang's body was unfolded by several people and changed back to its original appearance, but the power in his brain is too strong. There is still a way to send him back. La said to Zhao Jingang, that's the 7th button of the helmet. Seal. The staff of creation continued, I'm 3D. Do you understand 3D? I'm worth twice as much as yours. Who cares? Facing Athena's rebuttal, the staff of creation laughed and said to Athena, look, you bunch of weak and pathetic creatures. Your bodies have been broken down into lines. Of course, this is not the end. I know what is in the deepest part of the brain. I won't tell you. You will face the deepest fear of this world in endless fear. The staff of creation was still talking about something. At this moment, Zhao Jingang suddenly shouted to him, hey. Little King Kong unfolded the crumpled gloves and said to the creation staff, I called you. Do you dare to answer? No. The creation staff shut up, took out a sign from somewhere, and wrote on it without saying anything. Why don't you play by the rules? It is said that you two-dimensional beings are simple-minded. The gloves were made with my power. Don't I know what functions they have? Exclamation mark. The creation staff was extremely arrogant and cautious at the same time. He didn't say a word and only answered by writing. Besides, I have said that the way villains die because of talking too much has been an old routine for many years. How can I go down this old road again? Creation staff, you said we have no thickness, right? Lars' voice suddenly sounded, and the creation staff realized something. He couldn't see Lara and others. Where are you? The creator staff could no longer hold back and asked directly. Since you are a three-dimensional creature, we will also have a visual blind spot for you here. The other 4 people turned sideways and faced the creator staff. As three-dimensional creatures, they were completely blinded at this moment and could not see anything. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Several people lurked near the creator staff and directly relied on the visual blind spot caused by the creator staff to form pencil lines to tie up the creator staff tightly. And at this moment, La directly stuck a piece of paper on the chest of the creator staff. Damn it. The staff of creation said, anyway, I've already gotten into my head. Why are you still forcing me? To prevent you from continuing to destroy the world. Hey. The staff of creation lowered its head and said to La, do you want to be sealed with me? Think it over. Once sealed, you will merge with me, and we will both be sealed together. You stupid cartoon character. Looking at the staff of creation that broke through the defense, everyone knew that they had found the right way. Aren't you afraid of being swallowed by darkness like little King Kong? I call your name. Do you dare to answer? Give me a chance. I have a way to bring you back to the original world. You can use my power to create a better world. Give up hatred and believe in love. Rat said, I also believe in them. I believe they will definitely create a better world. And, without your power, I'm the Southern God. Rap. The 7th purple button of the glove was pressed, and the sealing power was activated. The palm of the glove was attached to Raz's face. The creation staff spit out red light from its mouth like spitting blood. The red and blue creation staff 3D body and the black and white lines of Ra merged into one, and were sealed into the glove. Grab the glove. Little King Kong shouted, and the moment the others grabbed the glove, they turned into a cartoon style. Shoot the glove out. The boost generated should be able to take you out. A dialog box appeared on the screen, with an arrow pointing directly at Little King Kong. What are you going to do? This time the dialog box points to the river god. We haven't made a pinky promise yet, so you don't have to come back to pick me up this time. The dialog box points to Little King Kong again. Go, King Kong Iron Fist. Driven by the power of the glove, the river god, Athena, and Thor flew out of the comic layer, the line layer, the scene layer, and finally, flew out of the brain hole, and returned to the ground. Little King Kong, still falling here as Little King Kong fell into a world composed of countless words, and his body, at this moment, continued to decompose, and the decomposed stalks all turned into words. Little King Kong turned his head and saw a piece of paper, which read, the creation staff deliberately merged with Little King Kong, just because Little King Kong was a basis for its existence in the world. On another piece of paper, it was written, with the sacrifice of Little King Kong, the 3 river gods returned to the pyramid. In the end, the river god married Athena, and the 2 of them, and the dog lived happily together. Zyojin Gang seemed to understand something. He continued to look. This time, it was a piece of paper from the past. Tell me what wish you have, I can help you realize it. Zyojin Gang, I have made it. I won't tell you. Zio King, so, what is your life wish, Zio King? Zyojin Gang's consciousness gradually dissipated, but he saw that sentence at the end. Zio King's wish is to be with Zyojin Gang forever. Forever. Love Zyojin Gang. Chapter 575, 100,000 bad jokes to the end. I'm sorry, Zio King, I'm going to break my promise. Zyojin Gang slowly fell down, and the characters on his body gradually turned into radicals. A tear flowed out, but it turned into the word back quote tear finally. Zyojin Gang fell to the bottom of the brain hole, which was a world composed of countless discarded characters. The 3 golden characters Zyojin Gang fell into the brain hole, becoming the only light in the entire dark text world. I thought it would be a happy ending. Peter wiped his eyes and said, just like the world of Nexus. In Nexus, the great god Noah performed the Deus Ex Machina in the end. If this world wants to have Deus Ex Machina, it must have other 3D creatures. So what is going on in that world? Janitor asked as if she understood. I seem to understand, but also seem not to understand. The origin of that world has been presented to us. It is that brain hole. Bruce boldly inferred. Suppose the reason is because of the countless words in the brain hole, but how are they composed of? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. Maybe the brain hole is a collection of thoughts. The combination of countless people's thoughts finally formed a brain hole. In my world, brain hole has the meaning of describing human thinking inspiration. Peter Parker, where did the creation stuff come from? I do have a guess. That world is indeed a two-dimensional comic world, and King Kong and the others are all comic characters. The creation staff is the pen that fell from another world into that world. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, River God. Do you know where the creation staff comes from? River God, the creation staff? It fell from the sky. Thanos, I seem to understand a little bit. The creation staff is actually the author's pen, and that world is the world drawn by people. So the creation staff has the ability to create everything. And the so-called Titan is actually an incarnation of the author. Holy Lord, what a crazy idea. Loki Odinson, you are worthy of the name of the Mad Titan. Thanos, if the guy named Deadpool is here, I think he will be able to tell the whole story. Tony Stark, are you trying to say that only an absolute madman can understand all that? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, not necessarily a madman, but you need the ability to break the wall. Captain America, my god, I never thought that I could actually draw a world. Wanda, no, Captain, this is indeed simple. I have an idea. To us, the characters in the comics are just fake, but to the comic creatures, all of this is real. We draw the pictures casually, which are what they really experience. We can control their life and death, and what creates all of this is our thoughts and a pen. That's all. Wanda's words made everyone silent for a while. This news was so shocking that they couldn't confirm whether they were a comic creature drawn by others. Mr. River God, are you okay? Peter asked tentatively. It must be very uncomfortable to suddenly know that he was just a comic character. It's okay. The River God said calmly. Well, you know you may be a comic character, so you don't feel anything. I was a little surprised at first, but it got better soon. The River God, comic creatures also have to pay mortgages, have birth, old age, sickness, and death, and get married and have children. What's the big deal? In our world, everything around me is real. That's enough. Listening to the words of the River God, everyone could only sigh that the River God has a big heart. With a bang, a white chick fell from the sky and landed right in the grassland orphanage. The old director picked up the crying chick and asked, "Child, what's wrong with you? Where are your parents?" The old director looked at the chick and said, "It looks like you are an orphan. So pitiful. Do you know?" The old director gently shook the chick and said, "You fell from the sky with a bang, bang." For some reason, this sentence touched the chick's funny point, and the chick laughed out loud. Above the starry sky, the god saw Ra, who had completely lost his memory. Ra has completely lost his memory. Zeus said, "That's fine." Noah said, he also said that he wanted to be immortal. The Titan's prophecy said so. Odin looked at the chicken on the ground and said, "The one who gets the power of the scepter will bring chaos to the universe." Now the prophecy has failed, and the scepter of creation is gone. Our mission is also completed. Yes. Zeus said, "Our era is over. We can retire, and this world needs a new guardian." Don't we already have a candidate? What a pity, one is missing. What about the pyramids and brain holes? Based on the original Transformer planet, what should this planet be called? Let's call it the Cosmic Transfer Station. As soon as the voice fell, an unknown young man appeared in the nearby universe, and in an interrogation room. 4 suspects, one of them is a dog. Anubis asked, "Tell me the truth, are you the one who beat him up?" Grey Wolf roared, "How do I look like a dog?" In the Parthenon on Mount Olympus, Zeus was waiting for his grown-up daughter to return. "Athena, I'm proud of you. It's not me, it's us." This time, Athena did not hide it, but took the hand of the river god, announcing her relationship with the river god in disguise. What a good boy. Zeus appeared in front of the river god in a flash, and then asked questions like a string of cannonballs. How old are you? Where do your parents work? When do you plan to have a child? Do you want a second child? Let me tell you, while we are still young, I can still help you raise the child. Dad, that's enough. It's too early to have a second child. 100,000 bad jokes to end. Where are the Easter eggs? No Easter eggs. As a loyal believer in pure love warriors and happy endings, Peter can't accept such a hasty ending. 100,000 bad jokes to Easter eggs start. You decide what to write next. I'm tired. I'll choose between Man of Steel and Apocalypse. That's it. You choose. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.